We got us a flathead right there, man. Oh, he's wound up. Hey y'all, good morning. We're right here at sunrise and we got us a beautiful skyline over there, and it's going to look even better if we could hold up some big fish while we're looking at it. So I've already got us some baits laid out here in the floor. We've got a big yellow bass that I caught yesterday. We're going to slice that thing in half and put him on some heavy tackle. I've got a shad laid out over here. We're going to start with a head bait on it, probably a little bit smaller size bait, put it on a lighter rod, and then we're also going to drop down a night crawler right there beside them and see what all we can get today. If it's anything like my last trip, we're going to get a variety. Some catfish, maybe some more yellow bass, which I got, and I also busted some surprise largemouth bass on the last trip with cut bait. Craziest daggone thing. I mean, once is an accident, twice is a pattern, and we got two big bass. So anyway, I want to get these baits on here quick, y'all. So I'm going to put y'all here in the chest. I'm a few minutes late getting started here compared to what I was hoping for. Y'all dragging again this morning, holding us up out here. That's as usual. I can't get my words out. I'm in such a rush, but let me get the baits on. I'm going to show you the rigs real fast. Me and you, we're going to kick back and have us a day. Hopefully catch a bunch of fish. Have a good time out here. So this first bait, again, we got that shad head. That's on one of the lighter rigs. So that's a number 1 size hook, 15-pound fluoro, swivel, little egg sinker right above it. That's a 2-ounce deal. So just a downsized Carolina rig versus my heavy tackle. 15-pound braid. This is a Catfish Sumo light tackle catfish rod and a Daiwa BG 4000 reel on this setup. All three of these setups are going to be similar but different. So I just hit the sinker, hit bottom, reel my rod tip down, and then raise it up. So I want that bait down there just off the bottom. And right now we're 23 feet deep, so our baits are down there somewhere between, say, 20 and 22 feet deep, where they're all going to be settled at. And I'll show you here on the graph in a second kind of what we're looking at here and how we're setting up today and all that. Well, I want to get these baits on here first. So this one here is going to be the heavier rig. This is my signature series Kayak Catfish rod from Catfish Sumo. It's a bait caster setup. I've got a Shimano Dakota reel on it. We got 40-pound for the main line, 80-pound for the leaders, and big 10-aught size circle hook on this deal. This is a lot heavier setup. This is more of what you think of as far as the culture of catfishing today. Is people go catfish, and this is typically the type of setup they're using. It's just me and you, we've been using some of the lighter stuff the last year or so, and I've really been enjoying that. So there's that yellow bass, essentially cut in half. Now, up here, the Carolina rig, this is a 4-ounce egg sinker here, a little bit bigger swivel, bigger leader, of course. And we're just going to drop it down here. We're going to put this one in the back rod holder, but it's going to be the same deal. We're going to raise it up so it's just off the bottom. We're just going to kind of have that bait suspended there. And then we'll get one more rig here, and then we're going to be fishing, y'all. Well, technically we already fishing, but you know what I mean. So this is just going to be, we're going to put some night crawler, or a night crawler, I should say. Just hook him a few times here with this hook, if I get my lid open to this thing. And we're going to drop it down. And this was something I done on the last trip, which was filmed yesterday. It was a recommendation from one of my channel members named Larry. He wanted me to do a side-by-side test. And we done it, and it started out, the worm was just getting dominated by the shad. And I'd almost thought about just putting another piece of shad on the other hook. But then the worm started to produce. And so I thought, we'll give it another chance today. And I do want to try a different hook, though. This is another shiner hook here, number 1 size shiner hook. I was using a mosquito hook and missing a bunch of fish on that last session there. So we're going to try that today. I would love to bust a sturgeon. They have been stocked here for well over 20 years where I'm fishing today, and the only one I've ever come in contact with was by accident when I threw a cast net over it. So from what I've gathered, people up in the Northwest who fish for sturgeon regularly, a lot of them will use worms on a hook. Basically, I mean, their setups look almost identical to us catfishermen setups. It's just up there they don't have the population of catfish that we do, so they can go out there and throw some worms on a hook and not get channel catted to death. Although I didn't really experience channel cats messing with as much. I've got some blues, got some yellow bass. Of course, the yellow bass, especially toward the end of the session, was really tearing up them worms. I mean, we were getting a lot of action on those, surprisingly. And then, of course, them largemouth bass on that last session, they were hitting the shad. So who knows? We got options for them, though. And I'll tell you this, if we do bust a yellow bass on any of these rigs, I'm not going to catch them on the yellow bass, but you know what I mean, the worm or the shad, I'm going to take that thing off. We're going to switch this bait out here on the heavy rig. We'll put on a live bait, a big live bait. That's what I kind of want to see what was going on out here this morning. What I'm going to do, put y'all here in the chest, and I'm just going to bring y'all with me. We're just going to film today. Me and you, we're going to sit out here and tell some stories, talk about life while we reel in fish. But the big thing I wanted to do today, I wanted to come back to this spot where, so let me give you the, for those of you that maybe ain't watched lately, maybe this is your first video ever or you've missed a few, let me tell you what's been going on to make me want to come right here today. So last week I had been on a trip out here on this section of the river, and I launched way on back down in the back of a creek back here, and I'd come out to the channel, and that particular day I trolled. I was on the top of a drop here. So in this section of the river, you've got a creek that feeds in here, you got another creek on down there, but off of the shoreline you've got a flat, 20s, mid-20s in depth for the most part, and then it drops off over here behind us to the main river channel, and that's 55, 60 feet deep over there. Well, I had trolled the top edge of that flat right before it starts to drop off for well over a mile up through here that day. And I get up to here, I start seeing a bunch of fish on the screen. Catch one of them, hit spot lock, sit there, and for the rest of the duration of the trip, I sat there and caught fish. Well, that was last week. Well, I go on down Chattanooga and try a trip there, I don't do no good. I come back yesterday and I'm like, you know what? We done so well ending up here. I was like, let me go off into the creek mouth yesterday and start there. So you can see here on the screen, this right here in the blue is the old original creek channel that come out of here, that flowed into the river before they made the reservoir. Now, anybody that's been with me a while knows that I love setting up on places just like that to anchor on, either in the creek mouth itself or on down here at the bottom of the drop, and catching fish either working in and out of the creek or up and down the ledges. I do that all the time with great success. Well, I come out yesterday and I thought, I'm going to try that and we'll see if we get some fish working in and out of this creek that way. And we sat here 30, 45 minutes. I don't remember how long exactly it was. Had one fish, wasn't doing no good. And I said, okay, well, let me come back up here on top. You know, up here, I mean, you look around, it's kind of makes like almost like a peninsula, if you will, the way the creek runs around. But I come back up here on top of it and started catching fish almost instantly when we got up here, and just whacked them the rest of the morning. Left them biting yesterday. I have no idea why there were so many fish right up here, but I know there was. And so then I was like, today, well, first off, I want to come back here because it caught so many fish yesterday. But two, I want to see what's going on right here at first light. When we get out here, of course, I've missed first light. We're right here at sunrise now. I should have been out here earlier, dragging, you know. But nevertheless, I want to know what's happening right here. Would there be more activity? Would there be maybe some better quality fish feeding up in this area. And of course, you can see some bait right here on the screen right now. There's something down there. School of probably shad or who knows what. But I was like, will there be anything different going on right here at sunrise? Because sunrise is oftentimes provides an activity period, especially for bigger fish. And we were catching fish all daggone morning once we moved up here to the top of this. So I was like, let's come back today. Let's try it again. And here we are. So, yeah, I'm going to put y'all here in a chest. I don't know why I keep grabbing the camera to spin it around. Look at all that right there. All that. So, there's food down there for them. And they've got an easy meal when they come up on ours. But ours has got a hook in it. Ours has got a big surprise for them. We're going to stick them and reel them in, by gosh. And I'm ready to. Yesterday was a lot of fun. We caught good numbers of fish yesterday. Now, it wasn't a great quality day. We did bust a couple fun sizers in the blues. Oh, look right here. Number one on your worm. Real curious to see how these shiner hooks would do with the worms versus the mosquito hooks. I went with the mosquito hook yesterday because it's a little bit smaller. I thought it would do better. But just missed a lot of fish yesterday with it. So I was like, well, what do you know? We got us a drum right here. Let's take a look at him and see if we want to maybe consider him for a live bait. What do you think, drum? Do you want to be a live bait for us? You're a little bigger than I would ideally like, but you know what? We got him, so what do you say we just stick him on there? We'll reel up our piece of yellow bass. I only wanted that cut bait on there on that heavier rig until we got us a live bait. I'd rather have something a little smaller than this, but you know what? We'll roll with it, and if we end up busting a yellow bass or something that is a little smaller, we can always switch this drum out. We can switch it out then. The best way to, I think I'm just going to go through the back on him. I'm just going to kind of get them scales off there first, folks. That'll help our cause greatly. Let me get hold of you here, you old drum. Kind of shallow hook him there, and I also want to just maybe give that fin right there a little trim. I don't want that somehow getting wrapped around the hook point or the barb. Okay, y'all, here we go, man. How about that for a bait, y'all? Let's send him down there. He went from a good time reeling in to hopefully breakfast for a big blue or a big flathead. We will see if it works out. Hopefully he'll conjure us up something down there. Let's get your net out the way now. Let's put another worm. Put another worm on that hook. Well, good news. We already got our first fish. We're just a few minutes into the trip here. Now, that was the last rod we baited too. So, I mean, it had been down there even less. 1 for 1 on the worms too. I did get us a new tub of worms. I left yesterday. I had to go to the store, and I thought, well, I'm going to get another tub of night crawlers here because I knew we didn't have many left after yesterday in the other tub. All right, let's send it down like that. Old worm. The original fishing lure right there, folks. I use them quite a bit when I'm ultralight fishing, but I never use them catfish. Well, I can't say that because when I go carp fishing, I catch a lot of catfish, and I always try to put a worm on my rig, but to go out and specifically be catfishing like we are today, in using worms, just not something I ever do, but I thought it's worth a shot. We've been catching so many bycatches lately with the yellow bass and white bass and things like that. Oh, now our cut bait. Here goes our cut bait, our head. Ooh, he's got a little fight in him this morning. All right. We're off to a hell of a start here, folks. Again, I have no idea why fish are holding up on top of this thing, but there's nothing here that I can see. There's no objects, no like brush piles or sunken trees or anything like that. I don't see any objects per se, but there's been anyway last week and then yesterday just a good population of fish up here. What is this? Okay, that's a cat. I thought it might have been another drum for a second there. He ain't gonna be as big as what I initially thought. Oh, get over here and act like somebody. Get in that net, you old thing. Well, first catfish of the day. A few minutes in, folks. I'm going to take a look at this bait. We may drop it back down. We have a ton of shad. We will not run out of shad today. But we may run out of larger shad. When I went out 2 days ago now and got our bait, I got mostly smaller shad. But the few big ones I got, I used part of them yesterday. This one here, he wanted a big one. So he got him a bite of that shad head, but we'll take a look at it. I'd like to have various sizes of baits today, from the worm there being the smallest, something medium on this rod. Yeah, let's go ahead and switch that out. Let's put this rest of it on here. And then I'd like to have a bigger live bait out. And that dang drum, he certainly qualifies as a bigger live bait. When I say bigger live bait, I mean like something a little smaller than that. If I could have had a drum about 8 inches maybe, that'd be perfect. I'll tell you, I've caught a lot of fish through the years, blues and flatheads both, that have puked up stuff in the floor of the kayak, like when you land them. And some of them bigger fish, of course, I mean, they've got whole fish that they're puking up. And it seems to me like the most common size fish through the years that I have seen thrown up is kind of fish in that 8 to 10 inch range, whether it's shad or drum or some form of bass. Like, it seems like 8 to 10 inches is like a premium size bait for large catfish. So when I get something I can use in that size range, I certainly like to have it. And the yellow bass, they're kind of always around that size range. Drum, of course, can vary from smaller than what we got there all the way up to whopper size drums. So you kind of get a variety of those. Same with the suckers. Crappie, I wish we could use smaller crappie here. They got to be 10 inches to use them there. So I wish I could have like a 8-inch live crappie as an option, and especially in the late winter, early spring months when crappie really shines as a bait. That would be amazing, but you just can't use them. Same thing with the bass. If we could use a 10-inch, 12-inch bass, largemouth or smallmouth, that would be awesome. But we can use them. They just got to be the minimum size requirements to be able to keep, which out here is 15 inches. And you get a 15-inch bass, which some of them yesterday I caught were way bigger than that. But at that point, it's bigger than I want. So, Can't have it all, folks, unfortunately. If it was easier to keep shad alive, we could use those regularly. We could regularly come out with live shad, but they just will not stay alive for me in a tank that is small enough to be functional in a kayak. With the limited space and limited weight capacity, I can't have a big 30-gallon, 50-gallon tank like a lot of these people on the boats have, right? So I'm kind of limited. So the tank I have is 7 gallons. Well, 7 gallons, that's not a lot of water. And shad are nasty fish. When they get stressed, they start shedding their slime and scales, and then of course they pee and poop in there and stuff, and then the pH in the water it gets off really quickly in them small containers. And some fish tolerate it better than others. Bluegill, you can put in there, crowd them in a tank like that, and they're a very hardy fish. They'll survive a while. But shad, you overcrowd them in a small tank and they're going to be gone in a half hour, maybe less. If you put maybe 2 or 3 shad in my bait tank and keep the water cool, well, you can keep them alive overnight. But you get out on the water, you ain't got but 2 or 3 baits in there. Well, that ain't going to last you no time. So I wish there was something that was kind of in that size range that was hardy, that wasn't blue. I mean, I know what you're saying. Well, Justin, just use the bluegill. And I do sometimes, but the bluegill, of all the baits I use, as far as like actual fish goes, native fish species that are out here that can be caught and used for bait, I would say bluegill's probably my worst performing bait. Yes, you'll catch fish on it. Yes, sometimes good numbers of fish. But rarely do I ever catch anything really big on it. Now that's here. Every body of water is different. There's been other places I fished where bluegill was an amazing bait. Kerr Lake over in North Carolina is one. Bluegill works amazing over there on big fish. Santee Cooper, bluegill, an amazing bait. But here, not so much. Like I said, it'll catch you fish. But if you told me I could have any other bait, if you told me, Justin, I want you to go out and try to catch a trophy fish today, and you can have any bait you want, and I had to rank them, bluegill would probably be last as far as fish goes. I'd choose it over something like chicken or worms or any other kind of grocery store concoction. But shad, skipjack certainly, yellow bass, white bass, drum, suckers, smaller carp. I don't want to have to cut a big carp up just because they're just scales and bones. But I mean, I would choose any of those over the bluegill. So, to each their own. Somebody will probably come on counter argument that and say, well, I fish the same area just as I use bluegill all the time and do great with it. Well, maybe they do. But I've done this crap a long time, and I could probably count on one hand how many big fish I've caught on bluegill on my home waters. So, anyway, yeah, I wish there was a good bait tank option for shad. It would be so awesome to have like a full trip's worth of live shad readily available. And when you fish in places like this, you take this creek here we're in. Now, I've never thrown a cast net in this creek, but I promise you somewhere back there's some shad. There's some nettable shad somewhere in there. So what you could do in theory, be a pain in the ass, but it could be done. You go out there first thing, get you some shad, run back out to say like here today, for instance. We go back there, net some shad, run back out here, drop them down, and fish until they die off. And then you'd pull up, go get you some more, and come back. Now, you would waste a big portion of your day running. especially if it was a long distance from where you're fishing to where you'd be netting bait at. But I mean, it could be done. But the efficiency of that with just being in the kayak, I mean, even today with having this motor option, it just takes so long to get anywhere. I mean, this kayak here, full speed, you're looking right at 4 miles an hour, 4.2 on perfect conditions. So if you're traveling a mile, let's say, what is that? 4 miles an hour takes you 15 minutes to go a mile. So if where you're fishing to the back of a creek where you're going to net shad is a mile, that's 15 minutes each way. That's 30 minutes round trip. So it's just not very efficient. You know, like if you got to do that a couple times a day, maybe 3 times in a trip, like it's not practical. Yeah, you probably burn through the shad that you catch, great, but you're spending so much time without baits in the water, you have to ask yourself, is it worthwhile? And that's why I stopped. Years ago, those of you that's been with me a long time would remember when I was anchorfish, or when you hear me say anchorfish, I mean setting still, whether I'm using a physical anchor or like today, I push the spot lock button and it holds us in place. But I used to try to hit as many spots throughout a trip as possible. So I would anchor down on a spot, throw my baits out, and if I was getting bit, now I would stay there. But if I wasn't, or maybe you get a few fish and then the bite tapers off, I'd be out of there. I'd go. We're going to catch one right here, though. Get you that fish. Get you that one right here. On the shad body section. Y'all reel this one in here for me. I'm going to let y'all reel one in today. I don't think he's going to be all that big, but he's a fighting hard for what he's got. Yeah, another eater. Caught a good number of these yesterday, but there was a couple better quality ones mixed in. And I'm curious to see this morning if we don't... Oh, he popped that hook. There. He unhooked himself. Well, I tell you what, fish. If you're that cooperative, why don't you just remove yourself from the net too? I won't even have to lay hands on you. There you go. He was marked up there on the top of him. He's probably fresh off the nest too. That was nice of that fish. Unhooking himself like that. A lot of the shad we got are that size right there. We're going to cycle through today. But no, anyway, like what I was saying, I would try to hit a bunch of different spots. And if a bite would taper off, move. And what I come to realize, though, was that I was wasting a lot of time on my trips. As we drop this bait back down, I was spending a ton of time without baits in the water. Because you would reel up your lines, pull up your anchor, and then you got to travel to the next spot, drop anchor again, get out all your lines again. And so I started timing myself, how long it was taking me to go place to place. And it was an insane amount of time that just on an average trip, I mean, I'm not talking about like fishing an area where there are super long distances between spots that you would anchor on. I'm talking just about a normal day. And that's what prompted me really to want to try that George Costanza experiment. I've told this story a few times. I'll give you kind of a Cliff's Notes version of it for those of you that are going to think this is a rerun because you've heard it before. But there's been I call it a George Costanza concept I have used numerous times in my life, where I reference my favorite episode of Seinfeld ever, where the episode is where George Costanza realizes that every decision he's ever made in his life has been wrong. So if he just would do the opposite of his natural instinct, he would have to be right. Well, I apply that a lot in my life. If I'm stuck on something, or if I'm not getting what I want or where I want to be, I'll be like, okay, if what I'm doing is wrong, then the opposite would have to be right. And, you'd be surprised how often that will change your fortune if things ain't going your way. Like, even if doing the exact opposite isn't the correct answer, even if that's not going to get you the results you want, just by doing the opposite, sometimes it will get you thinking about things in a different way, maybe put things in a different perspective, and that will lead to the correct answer of whatever problem it is you're trying to solve. So, go back to 2019, I get this bright idea. I'm going to do a year-long experiment. And instead of going out and fishing as many places as possible throughout the trip, I was going to anchor on one spot and fish as little water as possible throughout the trip. So if I was going to go out and fish for 4 or 5 hours, instead of hitting 4 or 5 different spots, I fished one spot for the duration. And I wanted to see how would that compare as far as numbers of fish, as far as big fish, compare that to previous years. And I ran the experiment for a full year, all 4 seasons, because you can't do it for 2 or 3 trips. It's too small a sample size. You could go out and have a lights out day and think, man, we've cracked the code, we've solved the mystery. Or you could go out and get completely skunked. If you base an entire experiment off of one trip, it's going to be too skewed. So I wanted to do it for a full year, get a bunch of trips, all different seasons, all different weather conditions, water conditions. This fish has got a condition known as a hook in his mouth right here. He's about to find out too. He's about to find out what happens when you pull on a hook in your mouth. It pulls back. We're getting some fish right here, folks. Man, we're a few minutes in and we're already getting several bites here. They're here. We just need a monster to come through. That's all we're waiting on, is that whopper. Not the Burger King kind either. Remind me to tell you about the fast food experience too. My gosh, at some point today we got to talk about that. Come here, fish. You ever had a whopper before? He said they ain't got no Burger King down there in the catfish world. He's a little bit bigger than some of them other dinks we've been getting. He's probably, you could argue, smaller, fun size maybe. He's not front camera worthy, but definitely a little bit of an upgrade. Get hold of you, fish. Open that mouth. Grab the pliers on that hook there, and we're going to set you free, fish. No front camera time for you. He's tore up about it. He wanted that front camera picture there. Skinny. Long and skinny. If that fish had some weight on it, we'd hold it up. It don't. But anyway, I run that experiment just to see how the results would shake out compared to other years. And I ended up having probably the best year of fishing my entire life. Both numbers of fish was probably comparable to other years. I mean, as far, there wasn't a big enough difference that you could say doing what I was doing was making a great impact on that. But the quality of fish was really, that was the most eye-opening thing for me. And the other thing too was like how many fish I would catch, where it would be times where on a normal day, I'd already be gone. Like, I'd be sitting on a spot for 3 hours. Nothing happening. Only still there because I'm doing that experiment. You know, any other time I'd done been gone. And then all of a sudden you have fish working through and you got rods going down every which way for 20, 30 minutes. You bust some big fish. And then you get to the end of the year and you look back and you're like, well, holy cow, man, I had some amazing trips. Now, I had a lot of skunk trips too. Days where I picked the wrong spot. Or maybe I picked the right spot and just wasn't there at the right time. When you're only fishing shorter trips, which I typically do, 4 or 5 hours, you're counting on fish actively feeding during that window when you're on the water. And if that doesn't happen, well, you're just out of luck. So it's a little bit of a gamble in that. Whereas if you were drifting or trolling, something like that, you're just going to cover so much water, even over a shorter period. You're going to cover so much water, you're probably going to run into some fish. So when I'm drifting or trolling, I get skunked way less than what I do when I'm anchor fishing, especially if I'm sitting on one spot for the duration. But that trip kind of opened my eyes to the fact that even though what I had been doing prior to that was working, I was having success, there was still a better way. There was, at least for me anyway, a better way for me. Now, if you're somebody in a boat, you got an outboard motor, and you can travel spot to spot much quicker, well, that's not going to be as big a deal for you. But for somebody in a kayak, where your range is limited and your speed is limited, it's a huge difference. That's where I lost most of my time. It was traveling spot to spot. And when you're doing that and you don't have lines in the water, it's like, what's more important? Lines in the water, having baits down there on a productive spot, but only one spot for the duration of your trip, or hitting numerous potential spots for a few minutes at a time, but then you lose half your trip. Like, and you could make the argument either way, but when I put it to the test with my George Costanza experiment, I proved to myself that the better way was to put it all in one spot. So, since then, I do that a fair amount. Usually if I'm going to anchor or spot lock, I'm planning on doing that. Now, there's exceptions, of course. Last week out here, of course, I'd come out with the intention of trolling, working this up there. But then we got up through here and started marking a bunch of fish and catching them, and I hit the spot lock and sat there. So, that's an exception. There's other days, maybe there's a few spots in an area, or maybe I just want to hit a spot at sunrise, and if it works out, then stay there, and if it don't, well, then get on the move or something. So there's exceptions to it. I'm not just so regimented that's all I'm ever going to do the rest of my life. Plus, too, one of the things I learned doing that for a full year and testing it through each season and water conditions and whatnot, I figured out the one time period where that method didn't outproduce what I was doing before was the summer months. It was during the hottest part of summer, post-spawn. And yes, I caught fish, but it didn't really match up to previous times when I would drift and troll through the summer, cover water. Now, that's just because I think fish roam more in these warmer months. When they get off the nest, they're hungry, they're trying to put their weight on, they're going to follow schools of bait, schools of shad, they're going to hit these mussel beds up and down the river and stuff. So that was kind of the one time period where it was didn't really work out, as far as being the most productive. But otherwise, though, that was the better play for me in a kayak. Just put everything into one spot. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, folks. and those of you that have fished with me on these trips regularly, you've seen it. The spots I do, I'm always looking for places, and I pull up a contour map. Well, Justin, how do you pick a spot? How do you find a productive area to fish? I will look for places that are going to offer one of two things. I want places that fish are going to have to swim through, or places that fish are likely to hold on. So, what's the type of place fish would be likely to swim through? Well, this creek mouth up here, right? Right up here beside us on the map. So any fish that's coming up and down the channel here, if they want to work up into this creek, they're going to turn and come right up through here, right? Now this one here is a little bit wider. I would ideally like places to be a little bit more, you want to kind of funnel them through your baits. But that's the type of place that I would want to anchor on. Sometimes you'll get more narrow sections of river, and you'll get like little funnel areas the way the contours are. So it don't matter if a fish is working down this side of the ledge or the other, they'll go through these areas and kind of get, if they're following the contours, it'll kind of convene and they'll get funneled through. Little choke point areas, I call them. Those are good places. Now, as far as types of places that fish might hold on, well, let's say you got an object down there. Maybe a sunken tree or something. If you pull up on that spot and you see fish there on the graph, or you fish it a little while and there's fish there, great. You can put in your trip there, your whole trip. As long as there's fish there, it's just going to be a matter of time before they turn on and feed. But when you're fishing objects like that, you can't count on fish working to them while you're on the water. They either there or they ain't. And if they ain't there, they may not be there for days, weeks, maybe a seasonal thing. So it ain't worth putting your time into necessarily. But places like that, though, if there's fish on them, can be very productive. Mussel beds be another one. Like if you got an area that you know there's mussel beds, there's probably a chance there that there could be a pile of fish. And they'll just be sitting there on that mussel bed. So that's kind of the places that I'm looking for, ideally. But most of the time, I want to fish the places that fish are going to be working through. I want actively feeding fish swimming through my baits to get where they're going to eat. You've got the deeper water sanctuary. It's where they're going to spend the bulk of their time. That's home. You've got shallow water feeding areas. What's the quickest path for them to get from point A to point B? And I want to put myself in between them. That's typically what I want to do. And that, folks, has been a recipe for success for me. You've seen it on countless videos through the years on this channel of me fishing those type of places and catching a bunch of fish, catching a bunch of big fish. But, and this goes back to kind of revisiting the George Costanza and my previous anchor fishing philosophy. Just because you're having success doing something doesn't necessarily mean it's the best way. Like the example before, when I was anchor fishing numerous spots throughout the trip, I was catching fish. It wasn't like I was just going out and, yeah, I was losing a big portion of every trip traveling spot to spot, but it wasn't like I wasn't catching anything. I mean, I was having success. I was catching fish. That's why I kept doing it. But when I switched, it started being better. I started having success more frequently. Right? So the thing is, it's like, are we in the same situation now? Like, yes, I can pick these kind of choke point areas, or areas that I'm putting myself in a path and I'm having success, but is that the best way? Just because you're having success with it, it works, is it the best way or not? And it's hard to break what you're doing when you're having success with it. You're like, well, I could go out and try this, or I could do what works. And we're all a little bit, it's human nature, I think. We're all a little bit of creatures of habit, especially when it comes to having fun and being successful at something. We want to repeat that until it stops working. And the problem is, when you've got something like that, it's always going to work. But is it going to work the best all the time? And so yesterday, I'm circling all this into yesterday's trip, the last video there for regular viewers, where we start out 20 feet in this direction over here. I mean, we were literally, we're here. That's probably 20 feet. And we're sitting right there in an area where fish coming out of the channel should work through and catching nothing. And eventually I'm like, okay, well, let me come up here where I was catching fish before, and boom, we're instantly catching fish. And it's like, why the hell is it that the fish are up there? Were they just, instead of going through the creek, were they working up here onto the flat instead? Because it goes down this way and it kind of spreads out and whatnot. And it's like places like this, if I'm going to pull up and anchor on a spot, I'm going to anchor there, or I'm going to anchor down here on the bottom. I never anchor up here, ever. So it's like, am I wrong? Have I been doing it wrong? Would I be better off? And it just makes you question everything. And so we're having a George Costanza moment. It's like, do I need to go like a year-long experiment again? And instead of, when I pull up on a place like this, instead of anchoring where I normally would, do the exact opposite and see how that plays out. I don't know. I'm not going to do that for a full year. I don't want to make that big a commitment. But it's something to think about in the future. Is maybe I do move a little bit. Maybe we start at a place like yesterday where we fish where I think fish should be or should work through. And if it don't work out in a reasonable time, we'll move 20 feet and try that. It's just the exact opposite. And you might think, Justin, well, it's catfish, man. It's only 20 feet difference. It's not a big deal. 20 feet can be 20 miles, folks, depending on the terrain and the water conditions and all that. Like, there's just times where if you're off by 20, 30 feet, they're just never going to find your baits. And so, like, you take this situation when we're over in that old creek channel, it's going to be significantly deeper. So fish that are working up here on this flat, like, they may not even know your bait's down there. Especially when you don't have any flow. Like this morning out here, we don't have any current flow. They're not generating at the dams. So the only water movement we have is just a little bit of surface ripple here from the wind blowing out of this creek. So that and this, just you lowering your bait down through the water, that's the only scent dispersion you have. So you have to be a little bit more precise with your bait placement. And so anyway, that's something to think about, though, in the future. These places like this that I would have never really considered anchoring on in the past, maybe we need to put a little bit more time into them. Because, I mean, I've got, gosh, you pull up a map, man, there's so many creeks and smaller rivers that feed in here just like that instead of fishing where I normally would, we could just get up on top of the drop right there above it or something. Like, gosh, there's so many of those type places. I feel like it's worth investigating some of them. Oh, big thump on the left. This fish, hey Justin, how about you investigate this, by gosh. That's another one here that's got a little pep in his step, but not the quality yet that we're hoping to get. I was really hoping right here at sunrise we're going to bust a monster, but no such luck just yet. And something else we may do here, well, after we net this fish, but maybe in a little while, maybe an hour or so, since we just out here experimenting a little bit today, I'll tell you, let me get this fish unhooked, and I'm going to tell you something we might do, kind of on the lines of moving a short distance type thing. This fish said he don't move a long distance at all. He said he's going to stay right here. He said he's like most human beings never leave their zip code. That's a fact, folks. This fish, he said, he don't see a reason to leave his zip code. He likes it. He likes it here. Yeah, another healthy eater right there. Luckily for you, fish, we ain't eating nothing of that nasty old fish. And water here is contaminated, folks. You don't want to eat nothing out of here. But here's what I was going to say. So that last week there, when we trolled our way down to here where we're at and started catching fish and hit spot lock, and then yesterday when the creek mouth itself didn't work out and we come up here, the one thing we didn't do either one of those trips was we didn't try the other side of the creek right over here, where you got the drop from the creek channel and then comes up over here. We never tried that over there. Is the same bite that's been going on here, is it going on over there too? Is it one or the other? Is it both? I don't know. So we may give this another 30 minutes to an hour, see how it's going. And if we're not getting the results we want, maybe we will try it. Just go over there and give it a little time. We could always come back. Something like that, at least. I mean, it won't take but 2 minutes. Reel everything up and move over there. So that's not as big a deal as far as moving. You're not losing that much time, but it might be interesting to try out. Another thing that I never do, I can't say I never do it, because I do sometimes, especially in the winter months. But this year is the first year I've had to do it during the summer months. It's working these flats. I just ain't been able to, and it's kind of been frustrating, honestly. It's one of them situations where you think you know something, and you very quickly realize you don't know diddly poo-poo. But like in years past, this time of year, summer months, we're into August now, I would be catching fish deep, like real deep. Instead of being up here in 23 feet of water, we'd be down there in 60 feet off bottomless drop, working these ledges. Real productive pattern. Every year, like clockwork. This year, I ain't been able to catch nothing at them deeper depths. This summer, anyway. And, of course, you get up here on the top of the drops, and you can catch fish all the way up and down through here in the same places that in years past I'll be catching them deep. This year, I'm having to work significantly shallower. So then that goes back to, it's like, well, yes, in years past, I've had a lot of success fishing deep. Would I have had more or less success if I'd been up in the shallows then? So then that makes me think, look, well, I need to put more time into working the shallows, which again, I do some that in the winter. But it may be a situation where I need to put a little bit more time into these shallower water areas the full year. So basically, you all are probably realizing is I don't know anything. Every time I think I know something about fish, I come to realize I don't know anything. Like every time you think you start to figure a little something out, you get thrown a curveball And then you have to question everything. And ultimately, fish are where they're supposed to be. You can think, well, a fish should be here. A fish ought to be over here this time of year. No, they are where they are for a reason. And I'm not a fish, so I'm never going to fully understand what makes them tick, what makes them be how they are. So all we can do is just try to put ourselves in a position to succeed. And I'll say this, man, when you're fishing up here in these shallows like this, like up on these flats and stuff, I'm going to have to get my sunglasses here. That sun's about to pop up over the trees over here. One thing that you can do for sure is get bites, because up on these shallow flats, man, this is a feeding area. Fish work up out of the channel, they get up on the flats, they chase baits and stuff. Like when you do come across fish up here, they're actively feeding. Like, it's not like you go drifting down a ledge and you might go through some fish that are just shut down. They're inactive. And unless you can bump them on the nose or trigger them in some way to get them to bite, like, if they're not going to eat, they may just not eat. Whereas you get up in these shallower water areas, if fish are here, it's because they're hungry. They're eating. So you're going to encounter more aggressive fish when you do stumble into them. And being the shallower water too, especially with how I like to fish, with me suspending baits most of the time, the takedowns are better, the fights are better, because you've got such a small distance of line out. And honestly, I like getting the action too. Like, as I've been fishing the I say shallows again, shallow is relative to wherever you're at. When you've got water 60, 80 feet deep out here, fishing 23 feet like we are today, that's shallow. But many of you out there watching, listening to this right now, hell, your river might only be 12 feet deep at the deepest. So, like, shallow is relative to wherever you're at. What's shallow to one person may not be shallow to another. But up in the shallows, I mean, we're certainly getting a lot of action. And that's been fun, especially on the light tackle. Like, I've been enjoying these trips a lot. And using the smaller hooks, we're getting a lot more bycatches this year. I busted some big stripers earlier in the spring. Lately, we've been catching these dang yellow bass. Yesterday, I got them largemouth bass. Already got a drum over here this morning. Like we're getting a bunch of bycatches, and I think part of that is the location being up here, kind of a little bit shallower, and part of it too is the tackle and size of hooks and baits and things like that. But either way, it's been a lot of fun, and I've been enjoying it, and it's been something a little bit different than what you typically see in years past from me. And it's because I've had to adapt, but now I'm wondering, like, is this a one-time thing? Is this an anomaly this year? Is this thing going on all the time? Can I repeat this bite? I don't know. It goes back to, there's just so much I don't know. I've been doing this crap so long, and there's still so much I don't know. If there was a way that I could put myself in multiple places at the same time, it would be an easy experiment to run. Hell, we could be out here right now. If we could clone ourselves twice, one of us be here, one of us be in the creek mouth, and one of us be up on the other side. And we could all be testing side by side exactly which is the better option. But we can't do that. We're one person. We are one person. That don't sound right. You know what I mean, though. So it's probably best to just not overthink it, to just go fishing. Do what you like to do. Find a technique, find something that you enjoy, and just go do it. And over the course of time, you'll have some good trips, you'll have some bad trips, you'll have a lot of in between. But it'll all work out in the end if you just stay consistent. Just keep doing it. Consistency smooths everything out in the long run. It'll always average everything out. As our left rod got bumped again. We ain't had the worm get touched in a while. Did one of y'all let the worm get stolen off there? When this fish figures out what he wants to do, we'll reel up that worm and check it. He hit it 2 or 3 times. There's a school of something working through there. Did he get our bait? He did not get the bait. Let's send it back down. Let me try jigging this thing. I meant to bring a spoon with us today. I was going to try a jigging spoon out here, and well, you know my memory. As soon as I left the water yesterday, I wasn't thinking no more about it. But that was kind of working that dead shad up and down, was getting some of them yellow bass and largemouth yesterday, so yeah. Gave it the college try right there. Let's check our worm. We may not have a worm on there. We don't. We've been sitting there with a bare hook. Boy, y'all have done gone and done it now. Oh! Grab that rod over there, would you? Grab that rod while I got this out of the water here. I can't get y'all to do nothing. Y'all could bait that other hook for me. Get a worm back on there. I got my hands full. I can't do one thing at a time. I can't half do that. This is going to be a little better one here, I think. He's fighting like it anyway. I'd love to see that big drum go down. I'd love that. Just never know, man. Swinging for the fences. Sometimes you're going to connect. But I would like to switch it out. If we catch something smaller, we'll stick it on there and replace it. This one here is going to be a little bigger, though. He's going to be an upgrade over some of them that we've caught to this point. Y'all probably can't see a damn thing with the way that sun's coming up, putting a glare right there. We ought to be seeing him here shortly. Here, get this rod right here out the way. Let's set it over here. I'm going to rebait it here in a second. Now, that's an old channel cat. You know what? Before we fool with him, let's get this next bait down there, because I'm just still seeing a pile of fish that's working through. Grab this worm right here on top. He looks like a big old juicy worm, don't he? You remember that wrestler, the boogeyman? I'm the boogeyman, and I'm gonna get you. He'd always come out to the ring, and he'd have a mouthful of them worms. I can't imagine. You imagine being the boogeyman's girlfriend or wife in real life and having to kiss him after he's had a wrestling match and had a mouthful of worms? That'd be disgusting. Come here, channel cat. This is a pretty disgusting fish right here, too. I thought he was going to be bigger. One thing about channel cats, they do tend to fight a little harder. Get it out of the way. Get our can of worms right there out of the way, too. Oh, something's already after the worm right over there. Do you see that? Something hit it. Hope he didn't steal that worm off there. Let's get rid of you fast, channel cat. I think that worm rod's about to go down. If I get the hook out. Of course, leave it to a channel cat. Won't never second a camera time here. He said it's early enough in the video, somebody might still be watching this crap, Justin. I want to get my camera time. I like your optimism that people are still watching, Channel Cat. Get on out of here. Okay. Get her thing out of the... Where'd that... Okay, there it is. Like, where the hell's... I hear it rattling around. I couldn't see it up there. Let me set this out of the way. Let me get us another shad out of here. Let me try another one of them small ones here. I'm kind of wanting to see... Yesterday, after we had the success with these smaller ones, I'm kind of wanting to see how they'll do right now with all of that crap on the screen right there. Because if that's not all cats, I'd like to see what they are. I feel like we're going to have better success. Let me make them, like the yellow bass and the largemouth yesterday, both. They wanted them smaller shad. We'll see. Plus, we ain't got many of the big ones left anyway. Let's reel this in. It got hit a couple times. I bet our worm's gone. Hell yeah, you done let them rob our worm again. Call the law. We've got to file another report here. We done been stolen from again. How many reports y'all done filled out now? Can't get any. Can't get any. Oh, he's been hit over there. He's been hit. Hold on. Unless one of y'all want to reel him in, I want to get this other worm down there. That right there, folks. Here, let's wait a second. Lower that down. This feels like the way he's bouncing around like it might be. Yeah, it is. It's a white bass, I think. Or white bass or yellow bass. I can't tell at the present time. Oh, you done knocked my worms over, you fish. What the hell's gotten into you? You got a bad attitude. Let's reel our drum up there. He's a little bit more of the size of bait that I wanted. Get your drum here, folks. Drum, you done a hell of a job. You didn't catch us no fish, but you gave it a good effort. I'm proud of you. So, let's mean you might be my thumbnail though, John. Now that the sun's up here, let me hold you up. Give me a second here, folks. Yeah, I don't know if that'll work out or not. Go on, drum. Get on out of here, you old thing. This guy, though, he is more in line with what we are looking for as far as size of the bait goes. So I'm going to just snip that fin, and we're going to send him right down. Okay. See you later, yellow bass, or actually, I hope we don't see you later. I hope that's the last time we ever see him. Because if it is, it means he got gobbled up. Okay, got him sitting back there. Now let's take our worm and drop it down. But you see though, we put on that small shad and boom, we got us a yellow bass almost instantly. So I guess them fish we were seeing on the screen right there were probably, most likely, bass. Let me just pull. Let me get one of our bigger shad out of here now. Since we got another yellow bass. It's a little bit bigger one anyway. I think I got some bigger ones than that, maybe in the other bag in my cooler. Let's do a little bait inventory here when we get this done. This bait, again, it's old. It's 2 days old now, so this is about the oldest I wanted to use it. I'll throw out whatever we have left today. I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm going to fish, but I don't know what kind of fishing. Lots and lots of smalls. And another bag. And we got a couple other of these yellow bass too I'm gonna put in there. Okay, let's see what all we got here in this one. Oh yeah, that's a better one right there. We'll cycle that one in soon. Okay. Put this stuff in here. And then put that other bag of ice back on top of them. Alright. Well, running low on the bigger shad, but we got plenty of smaller shad. So not going to run out of bait, but we may have to use some smaller pieces of shad, or work in them yellow bass, or work in as we catch fresh yellow bass. Maybe that's probably what we'll do if we decide to use some yellow bass today. We'll maybe try to catch one live and cut him that way. He'll be super fresh. But yesterday the shad seemed to be the better bait than yellow bass. I put them on, caught some fish, but the better bait was the shad. We've got him back here. I went over this a little bit yesterday, but I've added rod holders to the back of this kayak. I took a 2x4, which I need to paint it, but I held off on painting it because I wanted to see if it was going to work out first, but I had to raise it. I put another little block under this, ran a bolt through both of them, and then just use a wing nut here to tighten it down to the gear tracks. But now that puts the pressure, the torque kind of on the board versus just the gear track itself, which will eventually work the screws out. I had something get hit. Is it that one? Or this one? Something got hit, folks. Let me turn back around. I felt one of them get hit while I had my back turned. We turn back around now as playing jokes on us. Now they ain't gonna touch it. But anyway, yesterday we kind of figured out it's pretty secure. It worked out back there having them rod holders like that. So we'll keep that bigger bait there behind us. I definitely want to try to keep an eye on the worm rod, since it is most likely to be the one to get ripped off the hook, as we've already seen there a little while ago. But yeah, folks, I've just got a lot of questions, man. I've got a fair amount of knowledge just from experience, having done this so long, but then you have days that just makes you question everything. And of course, too, there's the experience of going other places and seeing how things work there. So, like, I'll give you an example. A few years ago, and I think it was in the month of August. Matter of fact, this rod's going down. Okay, well, he thought better of it. But he didn't get our bait, so send it back down. But yeah, a few years ago, I go over there and fish Kerr Lake, North Carolina. And if you look at Kerr Lake on the map, it looks very similar to the areas I fish, because it's got that big river. What's the name of that river that goes? Is it the Roanoke River? I can't remember the name of that river, but like if you look at it on a map, whatever that river is that goes through there, you've got real deep channels, deep ledges, and you've got a lot of little offshoots, little backwater areas. So when you compare that body of water to the body of water, my home waters that I most often fish, they look almost identical. So when I went over there to practice for the tournament, left rod. Oh my goodness, we done missed another one here. Y'all done, I let you reel in the last two there, and you've done missed them both. I'll tell you what, the next time it gets hit, you let me handle it. Let me show you how it's done. Every time I try to let you reel one in, you miss it. But I went over there thinking that it was going to fish just like my home waters because it looks the same. And the climate is virtually the same. Yeah, it's on the other side of the mountain, but you get in summertime, August, I mean, climate's virtually the same. Well, I get over there and I'm trying to do there what I'd be doing here at home, and it ain't working. I ain't doing no good. And not only am I not doing any good, like, I'm not catching anything. Like, I had a lousy practice over there. And I finally just started, like, trying to cover water. Anytime I go somewhere new, like, I want to cover water. I don't really like, I love anchor fishing, like we're doing today. Like, I can do this all the time. But when I go to a brand new body of water I've never been to before, I don't really want to do this, because if I'm wrong, I'm going to spend a whole portion of my trip, vacation or whatever, wherever it is I'm there, I'm going to waste a bunch of time on one spot that may not be productive, and I'm not going to know it's productive. So I like to try to cover water, and then if I run into some fish, then anchor, but I want to just be on the move. So anyway, I'm out there doing what I should be doing at home and having success, and I'm not catching anything. Man, it's awful. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start real shallow, dragging baits, and just go out progressively deeper. And what I realized is that I was catching fish 15 feet or less. Now, again, back home, now this year being the exception, but typically this time of year I'd be catching fish 50, 60, 80, sometimes 100 feet deep. So I went over there, and that's exactly where I started, because I thought, well, I'm going to catch them there just like I'd be doing here. But I wasn't. There wasn't nothing to me. It was the Dead Sea. At the deeper depths anyway. But you move up in the shallows, suddenly you're getting bit. So, I mean, that's an example of just different body of water fishing completely different. And, having a little experience with that, it does make you think a little bit too, as far as like, at the time, I really couldn't replicate that bite here. But maybe there are times, and maybe this year being one of them, where it kind of is. I don't know. Again, I don't know. I don't even know where I was going with that now. I got off, in my mind, I think I got off on a side topic and just got twisted around every which way. So hopefully you figured out what I was trying to say, even though I can't even figure out what I was trying to say at this point. I guess the point of it all is, here, folks, is get out there and do your own thing. Like, don't watch me or any other talking head on your TV or telephone and just assume that what we're doing's right. Like, yeah, you watch enough of my videos, you're going to see me catch some big fish, or have days where I catch a lot of fish or whatever. But just because you see me do that on whatever body of water I'm on, don't necessarily mean it's the right way to do things where you're at on your body of water. So take some of it, take what you can, and apply it and put your spin on it, and hopefully figure things out for you. If you can take a little from me and a little from this person and this person, this person, this person, and maybe put it all together, you'll be a little bit more well-rounded, maybe be able to apply some things. And never, ever, ever underestimate the ability of the George Costanza opposite. Do the exact opposite. If you're not having success doing what you want to do, then do the opposite of it and see how it works out. And if that don't work out, maybe it'll at least change your mindset and get you thinking about things in a different way. And I've done that a lot, man. I've just used that. so much of TV is just garbage. You watch it, and yeah, maybe it's a good show in that moment, but then you never remember anything more about it. But that specific episode of Seinfeld has stuck with me for, hell, I don't even know how many years it's been since I first saw it. 20 plus years, probably. Hard to believe it's been that long. Most shows, though, even hit shows, popular shows I was really into. You remember a few things. I mean, I can remember Negan taking the baseball bat to Glenn's head on Walking Dead. That was a classic moment. Could I tell you anything else about that entire season of Walking Dead? No, probably couldn't at this point. Oh, big thump. Well, a little slow pull. No, but he's going with it. Y'all done missed another. Let's give it. Bait's kind of crooked in there. Let's give it a little while longer here. The sun's up over the trees now. So that, here, let's switch this bait out too, since it's been hit a few times. With the sun being up over them trees, we're kind of past the point that I was curious about this morning, as far as would there be any huge fish kind of in this area right here at first light. That it ain't really worked out like I had hoped as far as the quality goes. We're getting good action here in numbers, but the quality didn't really pan out like I'd hoped. So now I'm wondering if we shouldn't move here in a little while over to the other side of that channel up on the flat over there and see what, if anything's, going on there. Let's sit here just a little bit longer, and then we'll maybe try that, because it won't take us just 2 minutes. Reel this up and slide over a few feet. I just want to kind of go on the other side of this little old creek channel here, right here, same area. Boy, big splash right over there, 50 yards to the right of us. I just want to slide us over there. Maybe we'll do that here in a little bit and just see what's up. I don't know what that big splash was. Paddlefish, maybe? It reminds me when you're down there in the ocean and you get the most terrifying feeling. It's a little, I mean, when I'm down there in the Keys, and that trip's coming up soon, man. We're in August now, so I mean, we're September, October, 3 months away from me going to Florida. You'd be down there in the kayak, and it's a little nerve-wracking anyway, because you know there's sharks out there bigger than your whole rig, right? And if one of them just took an interest in you and come up and slammed you, like, you're in trouble. So you always, when I'm down there in the ocean, I'm always just a little bit on edge, like a little heightened sense of nervousness, or your nervous system's a little heightened. You know what I'm trying to say. You're always, your head's on a swivel out there between the huge boats zipping by and the fish in the water bigger than your whole kayak. Like, you're always just a little on edge. But since I've been down there the last few years, I'll tell you what has become a real fear of mine, and that is the eagle rays. I'm more fearful of an eagle ray crippling me or injuring me than I am a shark. Because these eagle rays, they're these giant stingrays, and they seem to be pretty prevalent around the bridges down there in the Keys. And the Keys is just a series of islands off the coast of Florida. And there's all these bridges that go from island to island as you make your way from the mainland all the way down to Key West, right? And around those bridges offers really good fishing because there's usually a deeper channel there that goes between the islands, and so there's a lot of current flow through there. And the bridges offer a break from the current flow. It offers a food source, stuff growing on the bridges and whatnot. So there's a lot of life in those areas. It's a great place to fish. But you'll be out there doing your thing, fishing along, all peace and quiet, and all of a sudden you'll hear kaboom, big splash. And it'll be these giant eagle rays, these stingrays that, I mean, are bigger around than what I can even do my arms here. Huge. I mean, these things, hundreds of pounds. And they come flying up out of the water at random, and they'll jump 6-8 feet in the air and then come crashing down. And I've had some that have been within 15-20 feet of me when they hit, and it's like, boy, if the day ever comes that one of them thing lands on you, God forbid they end up right in your lap or even hit the side of the kayak. Even that much weight landing on the side of the kayak, like, you're going to get thrown. You're going to end up in the water. I mean, them things are dangerous. And there don't seem to be any rhyme or reason to how they maneuver or how they jump. They're just around there. I don't know if they get spooked or if they just randomly jumped as fish randomly decided to eat. Let's see if we can keep this one hooked up. You think we can? I feel like we've missed a few. There's another one up here. It's going to be a cat. Lots of life up here. Up in the shallows. Lots of life. Definitely lots of action. We're just missing the quality. And I want some quality. Is that another big channel cat? No, that's a blue. My glasses and the glare ain't putting out ain't giving me the proper color of these fish when I first pull them up. Come here, fish. You ever seen an eagle ray? Blue cat? They know, Justin, they ain't got them here in freshwater, but them things are terrifying, buddy. I mean, I guarantee you, they would hurt you if they landed on you, just the weight of them. This fish, I'll hurt you too, Justin. I'll flop around. Try to put a fin right in your foot, Justin. That's what I'm going to do. All right, let me have that hook back. Well, maybe. There we go. All right, get on out of here, Blue Cat. What's going on the other side of that creek channel, Blue? He ain't going to tell me. He said, go find out your damn self. I'll tell you what, let's do that. We've got that other line reeled up. Let's check our worm. Don't feel like nothing's on there. Hell, our worm's gone too. We sitting on there with a bare hook. Let's try it, y'all. Let's just go ahead and reel up our yellow bass. We'll slide over. It'll either work out or it won't. Okay. Get the remote here. Let's just slide over. Might not even take us a full 2 minutes. Get everything reset. Hope not. Don't want to lose time out here. So we're 24 feet. We're about to drop into this old creek channel. We'll certainly take a look as we go by and see if we see anything down in there. But yesterday it was kind of it was a dud, man. Spent 30-45 minutes down there on one fish. There it goes. We're dropping off 35 feet, 36, 38, 40. Okay, well, that's deeper than I thought right there. Yesterday I didn't have the graph. It was on here, but it wasn't working. And I found out why. I thought the battery was dead. No, the wire had pulled out of the terminal on my battery. So wasn't getting no juice to it. That's why it wasn't working. I fixed that last night, so now we got our graph back. I didn't realize it was that deep. All right, we're up here now at 23 feet. I'm just gonna come up here to the top of this drop and let's spot lock it again. Now let's get everything dropped back down here. Get your yellow bass over here. He's still kicking and doing good. Down he goes. Them yellow bass tolerate them big hooks pretty good. They're one of the hardier species of fish. Okay. Grab you another shad out of here. Any more? Actually, you know what? Let's put the rest of this bigger one on. You know what else? Something we might could do today too. I'm not going to do it right now because I want to see what's just going to happen naturally over here. But you know, I talked about like our scent trail not really getting dispersed because of the lack of flow, and how really your scent, you're counting on either just a little bit from the wind ripple here or your bait falling down through the water column. Well, one thing we could possibly do is make more bait fall down through the water column, because I got all that shad, much of which we're going to be throwing away at the end of the trip today. So we could take some of them small ones, snip them up, and create a little cloud, if you will, just a plume of shad falling down through the water column. That's a big night crawler here. It's one of them old Canadian night crawlers. Just gonna hook him on the hook a bunch of times. All right, down he goes. We're reset. That was a quick move. It ain't like moving a mile downriver. All right. Let's see what's going on up here, y'all. It's about 8:30 right now, so. Lord, we got all this worm dirt in here. Nasty old stuff. One of them fish splashed water in our worm tub. Okay. Yeah, we'll take these old tails and stuff at some point and just snip them. Let them fall down through the water column, create a little chum cloud, if you will. Been interesting to do if we'd done that when we saw them schools of fish over there on the other side, but if we start seeing them over here too, then we'll do it. And if not, then we'll just, if we're not catching anything over here after 20-30 minutes, maybe we'll go back over where we was at. But it's just one of them things, like, what is it about over there that's been holding fish, or we've been catching so many? You know, I don't know. So I mean, this area here is kind of the same thing. This flat, it just, you got the shoreline, it comes out low mid-20s here, and then you got a big long flat, and it drops off over here to our right into the channel. So I don't know, I'm curious. We'll see how it goes. I definitely want to hit some more places like this, though. Places where I would typically want to anchor in the creek mouth, get up on the top edges of those and see what's going on. I want to do some more of that. But the better play lately, though, has been just trolling, covering water. I mean, there's been some areas we just caught fish the whole daggone way. So this time of year, coupled with the fact that that's been doing better, it's just yesterday I wanted to try that creek mouth for sure, but I didn't have access to the graph. I get out here, it won't turn on, And if you're going to troll, you need to be able to watch your depth and speed. You got to know where your bait is in relation to the bottom, because you may need to raise or lower it to keep it in the strike zone. And speed's a pretty big deal, because if you're going to troll, like, you got to be able to watch that speed. You don't want to go too fast, certainly. So anyway, I get out here and the dang thing won't turn on. And I just assumed it had drained the battery, because some graphs, even when they're turned off, will still pull a little bit of power. And I hadn't used that graph, and I think it was like 6 days. Yesterday was like 6 days since I had used it last, because I had fished catfish last week, and then I took a day off and just baited an area for carp, and then went carp fishing, and then I took the weekend off, and then I went out and got bait. So, like, I hadn't turned that graph on in a while, and I just assumed it had drained the battery. But I got there looking at it last night, and I go to plug in my battery charger to it, and the battery charger don't even come on. Like, it's showing its full charge, and I'm like, well, that's odd. Why won't this thing turn on? And so I opened up my battery box. I'm like, oh, the wire come off the terminal there. It pulled free. Must have been jostled around or something there, and while just driving down the road, and pulled on that wire and pulled it free from the crimp there. So I fixed that, and of course now the graph works, and now we can back to doing whatever we want. And that feature too, that's one thing I've really liked about this kayak. The kayak itself, this is the Old Town Sportsman 120 Pro. It's okay. I don't have any major complaints with it. Is it the best kayak in the world? No. Is it the worst kayak in the world? No. Like, it's a good, above average kayak. But what I do love is the motor and the graph working together. The motor by itself, okay. The graph by itself, okay. But being able to link them together, that's the big thing. And the same company, Johnson Outdoors, owns both Minn Kota and Humminbird. So you don't have to do anything special to link them. There's no adapters or anything. You just run the cord from the motor head to the back of that graph, and they're automatically linked. And that opens up so many features, some of which I still don't even know about, and some of which I'm still trying to learn. When I went down there in Chattanooga last week, I was trying to use the drift feature, and I need to watch a video on that. But the follow the contour feature, we've been using a lot, and basically just picking a contour. Like, let's say we want to work down the edge of this flat here. We'd just pick one of these here along the top edge, put what speed we want to go, and the motor would just drive for us. That's fancy, folks. That's a very nice feature, because you don't have to control the kayak. It's doing it for you. And if you're somebody that's lazy like me, that's a big deal. So is it something you need? No. Is it a nice tool to have? Yeah. But I do. I mean, as far as the platform itself goes, it's just so much more fun to catch fish on a smaller, less stable kayak like my... And it's not that my Hobie Lynx, it's not that it's not stable. It is, but it's a different kind of stable. That's the only thing I can describe it. It's just different when you've come from a background of kayaks, traditional kayaks, and then you get on a paddleboard or paddleboard style hull like my Lynx is. It just feels different, and I can't really verbalize what's different about it. But you can feel it. Like, you can just feel it's a difference, and it's a lot more fun. And so I really like that platform better. I wish there was a way where I could have the GPS tools like this Minn Kota offers and have that on the Lynx. But right now, there's just not really an option unless you do some really, really creative rigging. And even then, that's a little sketchy, because the Lynx, you just can't drill into the hull. It's a very thin layer of plastic with foam. And so even if you wanted to try to drill into it, and put you some fancy mount on, like the plastic, there's not enough plastic there to really give you any kind of grip. So my fear would be like if you tried to jimmy rig some bow mount onto it and maybe you hit something with the motor, a floating, maybe there's a log under the water, or maybe you hit a stump or something as you're coming up shallow. Man, I think you're liable to bust that hole, like crack it wide open. Maybe you knock the motor completely off even. That'd be my fear on it. But it would be nice to have the GPS functions. There's a motor, I tried one, I bought it, had to return it. It's I'm struggling to remember the name of it now. It was the name of a company, really an off-brand, if you will. What the hell was the name of it? I had showed it to my channel members a few months ago when I got it, but I couldn't. It was supposed to drop down in the pedal drive slot, and it would offer the GPS functions of Minn Kota or Motor Guide. But it didn't fit. It was supposed to fit, but it didn't fit. Like it wouldn't, the motor and mount system wouldn't fit down in the pedal drive. So I had to return it. Now I think they've since put a little disclaimer on there that says it don't fit the links, because for some reason the links and the Hobie inflatable have different size pedal drive openings than their normal rotomolded kayaks, which don't make sense really, because it's the same pedal drives in both, but it's different size openings in each of them. So anyway, it didn't fit. And so there's really not at the present time, there's not a good option as far as adding a GPS featured motor to the Lynx. And most people that have a Lynx don't want to motorize it anyway. They want to keep it super lightweight and simple. And that's the biggest perk of the Lynx, is just the weight itself. It's a whole weight of 47 pounds. And even once you add the seat and pedal drive, you're at like 65. Like it's a lightweight platform. It's very manageable for somebody who doesn't want to trailer a kayak. And like this rig here, my God, if I didn't have a trailer, I wouldn't take this thing out. I don't care how awesome the motor and graph combo is. If I did not have a kayak trailer, I would not take out this kayak. Because the kayak itself is like 100 pounds, 102 pounds, I think. That motor, you're looking about 40. The battery for the motor is like 20 pounds. Between the graph and the battery for it and a transducer for it, you're probably looking 20 pounds. Like, there's just a lot of weight on this thing. I wouldn't want to be dragging up and down the shoreline and having to lift it in the back of the truck. Like, that's just going to take the fun out of it. So I haul this thing on trailer, and if I can't back into boat launch, then I just don't put this thing in. That's the nice thing about having the Lynx. I can drop it in anywhere. It's a grab and go style kayak for me, basically. And I have an update on that too. So for those of you, I know I've told my channel members this, but I can't remember if I've told you all this, the latest update on that inflatable kayak. And I've got to email them today. It's another thing I need to do today. So there's a new inflatable kayak company starting. It's called Ventral. And they were down at ICAST. And they had worked a deal with me prior to ICAST that I was going to get one of their prototype models. And it would be mine to keep. Clarified that I would be allowed to keep the prototype. And I was going to do some video work for them in exchange for this. And I was excited about it because it's an inflatable, which I've been very fascinated by. It's kind of the paddleboard style hull, which we've talked about, how I love. And it had a new motor that would fit down into basically where the pedal drive would go in my Hobie Lynx. Now it had its own motor that goes in that spot. And the motor pod sits flush with the hull. The battery is inside the contraption or whatever that sits flush there with the hole. And then you got a small motor there on bottom. And it's got all the GPS features that we've talked about, the spot lock, course heading, all that. And so I'm watching them videos on the diecast, and it looked pretty cool because it looked like if you just want to run spot to spot, you can steer it with your feet, kind of like it's got levers that you push forward and whatnot, right? So it's kind of like, think of a zero-turn lawnmower. You've got your handles, right? You want to go forward, you push them both forward. You want to turn like this. So it's the same way except with your feet on this. And I thought, that's pretty cool. And then it's got a little button right behind the motor. So if you want to spot lock, you just push your foot on it, step on it, push on that button. Now you can spot lock. So I'm like, man, this is pretty cool. Well, one of the emails before ICAST there, they had given me a timeline. Like, we're going to be at ICAST these dates. Then we're going to be shipping out the prototypes these dates. We need your content posted by this date. Blah, 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 blah. Well, I think the shipping dates was supposed to be like July 15th to the 20th, something like that. And so we get to the end of July, and I still haven't gotten this kayak, and I haven't heard anything back from them. And I'm like, well, hell far. If they want this content posted in early August, whenever hell it was, they better get on with it, you know. Don't stick this on me last second. So I reach out just to make sure everything's still on. And they respond, and I get a completely different story as to what they were going to do versus what I had been told before. So again, before, they were going to send me and 5 other content creators a prototype. They had 6 prototypes they were sending out. And we would each get one. It'd be ours to keep. And I was like, well, great, because I'm going to get to keep this thing. Yeah, I'll do their little walkthrough video initially, but then I'm going to use it. And we're going to put it through its paces. And we're going to see, how durable is it? How fast does that motor run? Is the motor reliable? Like, one thing about what I do and the volume of days I fish is that when you see a piece of gear on my channel, me using something, like, it's getting worked, man. I'm putting it through its paces. I'm not trying to damage anything. I'm not specifically trying to be hard on gear, but the volume of days I fish, you're just going to find flaws, man. If there's something wrong with the product, we're going to find it. And I wanted to find it on this inflatable to see, can I have a bunch of fish, big fish, flopping around on the floor with their dorsal fins poking on that inflatable hull without popping it? Would the motor hold up to long-term use and long runs? Days like today where we're making a 2+ mile run to get out here? How's that motor going to do? Is it going to overheat? Are we going to get water intrusion like that little cheap motor I bought from Mariner Sales back there in the spring? They went out of business, by the way. I bought the motor in the winter. They went out of business in the spring. No correlation. But that thing, I mean, within 10 trips, the seal had broke and we'd got water inside there. So, like, what's this new motor going to be like on the inflatable? Is it going to be worth a damn? So I was like, well, great. I'm going to get to keep this thing. I'll run it hard for a month and just see how it does. Well, when it don't show up, I reach out. And like, yeah, we're going to be making arrangements for, I forget the guy's name. He's going to meet up with you and he'll be there with you on the water to answer any question you have during setup and whatnot. And then he'll take care of getting the kayak to the next person. And I'm like, whoa. This is a big change from what we had discussed. I was supposed to be getting one of these to keep. And now you're saying I'm not going to get to keep it. And not only that, but I'm going to have to take somebody out with me. I assume, yeah, he's going to be talking about the kayak and stuff with me, but like, he's probably going to be filming me too. So I'm like, are they just using me to plug a piece of crap? That I'm not going to get to put through the paces and test, like use my name, reputation, try to sell this thing, whatever. So I just responded back. I'm like, I don't think I'm the right person for you. This is a big change in the deal that we had previously had. And I worded it all nice and stuff, but I was just like, thanks, but no thanks. Good luck with your project. And then they follow up and they want to clarify a little bit. And they said that the initial plan, yes, was to give me and the other people each one of the prototypes to keep. But they said on the shipment to ICAST, to that convention down there, they had 5 out of the 6 get damaged. So they only had 1 working prototype for the 6 content creators they had work deals with. So what they wanted to do was basically let me use this thing under supervision for a long enough time period to get a video, and then they're going to take off to the next person. And then once the finished product, once they actually get these things in production, then I would get one of the finished models, if you will. And again, I was like, something's off with this, man. Like, how do you get 5 of the 6 damaged in shipment to the convention? Like, I could understand if 1 broke, you had something, but like 5 out of the 6, like that don't even make sense. Like that, just something's off about it. And so I'm like, again, thanks, but no thanks. I don't feel comfortable with it. Like, I just don't want my name and reputation being used to sell something that's garbage. And we have no way of knowing whether these things are going to be garbage or not. And we're not going to know until we get it on the water and put it through its paces. But I was like, in my mind, I was like, well, as long as I can keep this thing, then yeah, I'll do the normal walkthrough video as soon as I get it, talk about the features of it and all that. But then those of you that my true audience here that come on these fishing trips with me regularly, you would get to see it over the course of the following months, weeks or months, whatever, and see how it does. Get the real test of it. And so even though they might be using my name and reputation to try to sell a few of the pre-production models, whatever, get their pre-orders in, those of you that are, my real core audience would know whether or not this thing is good or not. But once they changed everything, and now I'm not even going to really get to put it through its paces myself. Like if I only had it for a couple hours or whatever, what can I really learn about it myself during that time period? And then when am I going to get the finished product? Like how far away is that? Will it even come to fruition? This is a brand new company. I don't know. What if funding falls through? They're trying to do a Kickstarter thing with it. Like, what if it don't fund? Then I've just put my name and reputation on a dud, and I never even see the finished product. So again, I'm like, thanks, but no thanks. Well, they've messaged me again last night, and now they're offering me $1,000 to do it, in addition to the finished product, which apparently this thing's going to be $3,000. At least that's the current price that they have it, the current MSRP, I guess, of when it's said and done, $3,000. Which, a little pricey for an inflatable, but it does come with the motor and the battery. And so you look at a comp would be the Hobie inflatable kayak, which doesn't have a motor but does have the pedal drive. It's $3,000. So you've got comparable price out there, but for an unproven brand, like I don't, at least the Hobie one, and granted Hobie's qualities went to crap the last few years, but at least you can get online and find people that have them and hear their personal experiences with it, versus a brand new company you have no idea. You can't find anything other than a couple videos from iCast, which, again, it looks like a interesting concept, but I didn't see anything in the videos that just wowed me. Kind of like us moving over here to this spot. We move over here to this side of the creek channel. Now we ain't catching nothing. What's it been? 20 something minutes? Let's move back. I want to catch some fish. We were getting hit on the regular over there. And now we over here, we can't catch nothing. We can't even get our worm ripped off the hook over here. Well, let's move back. See, now here we go, y'all. That's what I'm talking about. We've wasted all this time now. Granted, it only takes a couple minutes. But the time we reeled up the last one, move over here, drop everything down. Now we're going to go back, right back where we came from. But either way, it ain't that long. It's a hop, skip, and a jump over here. We're going to go right back over here, though, on the other side, and try to catch some fish again. I don't know why is it? Why are they coming up on this one side right here, but not on the other? I don't know. You would think there would be some object or something. Maybe there's something on the bottom. Maybe it's a different bottom composition. Maybe there are some mussels or something like that. Maybe a mussel bed of some kind. That's possible. Maybe it's on one side, not the other. I'm open to that. But as far as like physical objects go, brush pile, down tree, rock pile, something like that, like it's not visible on the screen. So, I don't know. I don't know, but what I do know is something's right there beside us on the left. There was definitely more fish over here on the other. So, that's what we're going to roll with. And we'll go over here and set again. And if we're catching them, great. And if not, we'll get on the move. And we'll just start trolling our way back toward the car. Mainly, the main thing I wanted to do today was see what was going on right here at sunrise on this spot. And honestly, I wasn't impressed. Glad we got some fish, but I wasn't impressed with the quality of the fish. All right, we're coming up here on top of the drop again. We're 24 feet. Let's get back up here where it starts to kind of level out. And then we'll hit it again. Gets about right in here. I probably should have put a waypoint there. Probably what I should have done before, but whatever. All right, let's get our yellow bass. He's still over here. He's still swimming. We'll send him back down. Down he goes where he stops, hopefully in a big fish's gullet. That's where I hope he stops. I hope he swims right into it. So anyway, I gotta reach back out to that company today and decide if I'm gonna do it or not. $1,000 is a nice payday for a little bit of inconvenience having to go out with this whoever their company representative is for a couple hours. I don't know. I'm tired of working with companies, honestly. I'm about companied out. I've talked to you all a little bit about this kind of stuff in the past, but did one of these rods just get hit? Did I imagine that? I thought I felt a bump. Maybe I didn't. Immediately, though, we get back over here and we start seeing some stuff again. But when it comes to working with companies, I mean, look, if a company's paying you, whether it's paying you in cash and product or just product only, And I've done deals for both, depending on, how much the product. I'm not going to do anything for a product that's got the value of a pack of hooks, but something like an electric bike, something like this kayak setup here, I'll trade videos for that. Sure. But as far as these companies, just random companies that want to buy advertisement space, on one hand, it's pretty easy money. I mean, never in my life prior to YouTube would a company ever want to pay me hundreds of dollars or $1,000, $1,500. I mean, the amount of money I've been offered for 30 seconds to a minute to read a script on videos is pretty incredible. Read a script, hit a couple talking points, push a promo code in a website, wash your hands of it, you're done. It's easy money. But it sours people on your videos because now you're putting commercials in on top of the commercials they're already having to see from YouTube. And so you get that kind of, I don't know, I just assume people are going to think you're greedy, which I am greedy, don't get me wrong, I absolutely am. I want to make as much money off this as I possibly can. But, I look at some of these other podcasters and channels and stuff that do that. I mean, take somebody like Joe Rogan. I love Joe Rogan. I watch clips of his podcast all the time. If I'm on a road trip, sometimes I'll listen to a whole podcast. But he got, $200 and something million from Spotify? Plus, he's making God knows how much from the replays on YouTube and the other social media platforms. And yet, he's still so damn greedy. He's going to sell ad space where you'll be listening to the podcast and there'll be another ad that he's doing where he's reading off a card or something in the middle. And there'll be several of those every podcast, every video. And it's like, dude, man, you got $200 and something million from Spotify. You're probably making a few more million a month off YouTube replays. Like, how much do you need? Like, enough's enough, And I'm certainly not on that level by any stretch. I'm nowhere near that. And my offers to read a 30-second script ain't going to be nothing compared to what he's getting offered. But still, I look at what companies have offered to pay me for a minute of my time versus what I used to have to do to bust my ass to earn a check every week. Some of them are tough to turn down, and I done a few of them a few years ago, but here's what I learned from doing it. It's never as easy as what you think. I mean, sure, there was a couple companies that were easy to work with. Manscaped, one, comes to the top of my head. Super easy to work with. They didn't give me no script. They were like, look, Justin, here's the new, the lawnmower ball hair trimmer they were coming out with, whatever model it was, 3.0, 4.0, whatever it was. They're like, here's our new product. We need you to hit a couple of these talking points and plug this promo code. But however you need to do it to get there, it's on you. There's no script. There was no boundaries. Nothing off limits. Because that was one of the things I asked when they reached out by email and then I had a phone conversation. And I was like, I got a fishing channel. How the hell am I supposed to work a ball hair trimmer into a fishing video? And they're like, well, that's on you. However you want to get there, as long as you do get there, hit a couple talking points and the promo code, we're good. And so I done it. And they paid me. And life was good. It was easy peasy. But that's kind of been the exception, not the rule. Some of the other companies I've worked with, it was all well and good until it's time to get paid. And then you can't get paid. Then you gotta, the person that was your contact, who was easily reachable leading up to the project being done, well, now all of a sudden you can't reach them. And then you finally do get back in touch with them. Oh, I don't handle the payment. You need to talk to this person in payroll, or this person over here handles that. And then you got to email that person and wait forever for a response. And they're like, well, that ain't me. They've told you wrong. I don't know why they'd send you to me. I don't do that. Everybody's passing the buck, but nobody's passing me the bucks that I've supposedly going to get paid for this. And so you have to spend all this time and energy trying to track down where your money is, and it takes forever to get paid. And then you're like, man, now what was going to be a little easy project has turned into way more time consuming than it should have been to get your money. And then you get to the end of the year and it's tax season, and you're like, okay, you've paid me. Am I getting a 1099 form or not? Because, I mean, most of these companies, if they pay you more than $600, they're going to pay you, or they're going to send you a 1099 tax form. The IRS expects you to pay taxes on that. It's income. But I've had companies that it's time to do taxes and you ain't got no form and you can't get in touch with anybody, and you're like, well, okay, I'm good. And then I had a 1099 form. I'd been reaching out to that company and nothing. And it showed up in like June. Hell, taxes got to be done by April 15th. It showed up in June. So I had to go back and do an amendment on it. It's like a huge pain in the ass. And then you get these companies too where they sell you on this. Oh, it's going to be easy. 30 seconds. Blah, blah, blah. Hit these talking points. Read this script, whatever. And they work a deal with you for that 30-second block. But here's the problem. The talking points they want you to hit, or the script they want you to read, can't be done in 30 seconds. Unless you're talking like that guy from the old, you remember them TV commercials when you were a kid in the 80s? The micro machines, the little miniature cars. You would buy them and they'd be like in a 4-pack of miniature cars, or you'd get a little play set in a car. And the guy on the TV commercial, the micro machines guy, he would talk really fast. That was kind of their thing. It was very memorable from the 80s. Unless you can do that, you ain't hitting the entire script in 30 seconds. So now you're in a situation where it's like, well, they've paid for 30 seconds, but it's going to take me a minute and a half, 2 minutes with my southern drawl to get through all this. And then it's like, well, they want it in the certain time period of the video. And like, if it don't fit, if it disrupts the video, then you potentially having people click off because you're turning viewers away. And how much money is that costing you? So it ends up, I just don't really think, with a channel as small as mine, and I got, 200 something thousand subscribers on here, I just don't know that it's really worthwhile at this stage. I certainly don't like doing it. I don't like interacting with these companies. I don't like, having to work these deals and try to sell crap. I'm not a salesman. It's not me. I don't enjoy it. Some stuff I do enjoy. Like you take something like the electric bikes. Those are fun. I like riding the bikes. I like running around with Daphne the dog. She don't like it as much as she used to. She's 4 years old now. So she's still young and energetic, but it ain't like the puppy stage where I could run her on that bike 2 or 3 times a day, run around the yard, multiple laps, and she'd pant for a minute or two and be ready to play again. Like, we're past the puppy stage now. So now you can run her around the yard about one lap and then she's over it. And she's either distracted or she's ready to go lay down or whatever. Same thing with the other stuff we do. We play frisbee. Used to, she would run all over the yard with that dang frisbee. Now she's going to chase it once or twice, and that's that. As our left rod here got hit. Okay, let's grab one here finally, folks. Oh, let's not. He's going to grab it all right. He grabbed the bait and ran with it. Let's do this. Okay, we talked about it when we was over on the other side. Let's do this. Let's put another bait on, and then we are gonna start taking some of these smaller shad and try to create a little chum plume, if you will. That's what we're going to do. There's the first start of it there with the tail of that one. There definitely don't seem to be as many fish here today as yesterday. I'm wondering if they just moved on. Maybe we just got lucky yesterday. Just happened to be here when there was a bunch of fish around. But we've got all of these extra shad here that we're not going to use all these, especially these little ones here. So let's just sit here and cut these things, just snip them up. And as they fall down through the water column, they're going to be losing the scales and the blood and the oils and stuff. And hopefully attracting some fish that may be around. I mean, this water's clear. Look, take the camera here and look. You see all that stuff sinking down? See all the scales and stuff reflecting on the... I don't know if you can see or not with the glare. But like as that falls down and it's kind of moving that way, I guess from the wind or whatever, maybe the motor, whatever. But you know, you're getting a little bit of dispersion. So we'll try this a little bit here. We got all this extra bait. I've been asked before, like, Justin, do you ever bait areas like you do for carp? Because carp, like I mentioned there the other day, I'd went out and threw out a bucket of horse feed a day in advance, try to get them feeding in that particular area of the creek. And you could do that for catfish, but I don't think you want to. First off, when it comes to something like this, the shad, how many shad you would need to be able to bait an area and actually hold fish there for any length of time would be just an insane amount. And I don't want to have to throw the cast net that much to get them. If you use other stuff like corn or horse feed, things like I would use for the carp, then you're going to just draw in a bunch of small fish, channel cat, stuff like that. I don't really want to do that. And then there's the time commitment to do it. That's one of the things. That's the reason why I don't do it on carp more often. It's because you have to go out day in advance and do it. And so you're basically having to do 2 trips to get 1 fishing session, in a sense. So that's why. But I mean, people do it, and there are days when I'll sit here with extra bait and do this right here and snip them up. So we'll try that. Put them down there, and we'll maybe take some of these tails of the other ones here that's in the floor, and we'll give that a few minutes. And if this don't work out, like if we don't really pick up the bite here soon, I think we will get on the move and just start fishing our way back toward the car. I had high hopes because, I mean, again, last week we finished the trip kind of up here and I was sitting on a pile of fish. And then yesterday, I just spot locked here for the duration of the trip and tore them up. So I was like, man, there's something about this spot, but it may not be the case. It may just be there just happened to be a bunch of fish here that first time that was maybe working along the flat, and maybe it was like that yesterday too. Too small a sample size, you know. But anyway, back to the company deal. Like it's a hassle. I don't enjoy it. I'm still getting enough views on the channel that I don't have to have it. And of course, I got the deal with the Catfish Sumo that doesn't require me to do all that. They don't make me read promo codes and scripts. They're just like, just go use the gear on video. And that's pretty easy. But that's kind of the exception, not the rule. Most of these companies, they want you to do the script, plug the promo codes, be as inauthentic as you can be, basically. Like, that's one thing I've never understood about these companies. They find your channel because you're doing well, right? Like, you're getting a good number of views. Clearly, I'm in the outdoor genre, right? So my audience is 90% male, adult males at that. And if a company is selling products geared toward adult males who like outdoor activities, well, they're probably a good fit for my channel. So they will find my channel and be like, okay, well, this guy could maybe sell some stuff for us. But then they don't take into consideration what made you successful to begin with. And I think part of my success is the fact I don't do all the sales stuff. I'm not trying to be Billy Mays ShamWow guy on here all the time, right? Now, I do sell a lot of products. And I know this to be true because of my affiliate links, right? Like, you can track all those, how many clicks you're getting, sales, commissions, all that. Like, all that's, I have access to all that. So I know I sell a bunch of stuff, but I do it by not being a salesman. I just go out and use the gear I want to use. And when I have a good experience with it, and I have good experiences over periods of time, weeks, months, years, whatever, and people like you, maybe regular viewers, you see me having a good experience time and time again with this product. Well, when you're in the market for that particular product, you might buy it or click on my link or whatever, right? So I get a bunch of sales just from that, just me using the gear. That's just how I do things. That's natural to me. Just go use it. Well, a company interested in your channel, interested in your demographics, the people you can reach, they don't take that into consideration, what made you successful. And they immediately want to start changing you. They want you to do stuff and turn you into something that you're not. Like, believe me, if I was a natural salesman, I would try to sell stuff. You know, but I'm not. Or if I wanted to try to, I would do it more to try to get better at it. I don't want to. So why not just let me do what I do? It's going to be better for the company. It's going to be better for the audience. And ultimately, what's better for the audience is better for the company. Because if I have to put in a paid endorsement here and read a script for 30 seconds to a minute in the first 5 to 10 minutes of a video, which is usually what they want. They want it in the very beginning. Well, then a bunch of people click off because they don't, they're pissed off. Like, well, Joe Rogan, man, he's making $200 million. Now I got to be subjected to another commercial. This got thumped. Left rod got thumped here.
seeing some stuff on the screen there. Boy, he's going to make another run here. I'm seeing some stuff down there now. Hopefully they're finding all them pieces of shad we cut up. Maybe they're drawing them in. Maybe it'll hold them here a minute. The worm's been a letdown to this point. But the shad here, and the yellow bass too, it's been a letdown. But our one rod with shad has done us right. You know what? Speaking of that, when we rebait this, let's ditch the worm on the other rod and put a piece of shad on it. Because we ain't got, but the worm's been ripped off the hook a couple times. But we've only got, that one drum on it, ain't we? So far today. Like, it just ain't, the worm ain't getting it done right now. We'll put another rod with some shad on there. I want to leave the live bait out. But the shad is definitely outperforming the worms. Get that out of the way. Get our net out the way here. Maybe we'll do a bigger piece of shad on one and one of the smaller ones on the worm rod. Thought I had another. Oh, there it is. I knew I had at least one more big shad in there. Yeah, these companies, man, they want to change you from who you are and what works to what they want you to do. And it's like, if what you were doing worked, you wouldn't need me to do it for you. Like, you're not reaching the people you need to reach on your own. That's why you have to reach out to content creators like me to try to offer me a deal to do it for you. And it's like, if I have to put that crap in the first 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, and then I lose a bunch of people in the audience first thing, then YouTube algorithms will be like, well, people aren't, that worm's going too. They're going to be like, well, people aren't liking this video. They're clicking off way sooner than normal. So now we're not going to recommend it. We're not going to push it out to more people. And so you end up getting less overall views, which, that hurts me as a YouTuber, getting less views. The more views you make, the more commercials are seen from YouTube can plug in there, the more money you make, right? So you have to deduct that off of whatever the company's compensating you and factor that in. But it's like, ultimately, the company causes you to get less views, which then in turn causes them to get less sales. The more people that see the product, then the more clicks you're going to get on the product. The more clicks you get on the product, the more sales you're going to get on the product. So to really work that equation, you want to get it in front of as many people as possible. So just let me do what I do. Let me do what it was that made me successful and caused you to find my channel in the first place. But that ain't how companies want to do you. That ain't how it is. They want to work a deal with you and then try to take control over how you're going to do things or how you're going to work things and say things. And that just don't. It can work with some people, some content creators. Some of them are they can do it and seem completely natural. But I'm just not that kind of person. It's just, I'm not a salesman. I'm just not. I never have been and I never will be. It's just not my skill set. I can sell. I can move a lot of product. But it'll be from me using it, having a good experience with it, and then just making the videos I make that are going to get thousands of views. Some more so than others. Sometimes a year more so than others. Right now, for instance, the views have kind of started to decline over the last few videos. Well, we're getting to the tail end of summer here. This happens every year. Views, they bottom out in the wintertime. In the spring, you'll start getting a little uptick. And then catfishing videos, for whatever reason, in the summer months, when most places it's the hardest time to catch big catfish because a lot of them are on the nest. But that's when most people are searching for catfish content. Kids are out of school, they're vacationing, they want to catch something big. They're going to go sit on the riverbank, and most places, catfish, probably the biggest fish they're going to catch, so like that's what they're going to do. That's what they're searching for. That's the kind of content they're watching. So views go up May, June, July. But now you get into August, kids are back at school. Football season's about to start. People are out in the outdoor space. They're thinking about hunting season, getting their gear ready for that, and views on fishing channels decline. So if you are a company and you are wanting to advertise on a fishing channel, specifically, like my channel, my Kayak Catfishing channel, it would behoove you to work a deal so that your product is going to be on a video in June or July, which is my peak months every year. It'd be you're going to get it in front of way more people in June than you are in January. Well, something's going on with this right rod over here. The rod tip's just wiggling every which way. Something get our bait? I bet something got our bait. He eventually worked it off there, didn't he? He sure did. Probably one of them small ones right there on the screen. Look at all that stuff right there on the screen, man. All kinds of fish. But yeah, you would think these companies would know, but I don't know that they do. But that's the demographic with me, man. It's 90% men. And of that 90% who are men, about 80% of you are going to be, oh, something hit me right then. He's on it, buddy. As soon as it got down there, he's on it. Let me just hold it in my hand here a second. Eat that thing, buddy. Make sure he didn't knock it off the hook. No. All right, back down it goes. But yeah, 90% of you are men, and 80% of you that are men are going to be between age 25 and 49. Like that's who watches this crap. And so companies like Manscaped, who they are trying to reach? Adult men. Ridge Wallet. I'd done a few things with them a few years ago. Who are they trying to reach? Adult men. The electric bike companies. Who's most likely to buy an electric bike? Adult men. Kids can't afford them. Yeah, women ride. I've had some of the bikes I've sold have been sold to women, but it's mostly men. That's the primary demographic. So, electric bike company reach out to me and you're like, man, what the hell's electric bike got to do with fishing? Well, nothing really. But the type of person who's going to go fishing or watch a fishing video is an adult man who likes outdoor activities. Who's going to be most likely to buy an electric bike? An adult man who likes outdoor activities. So, some of these companies are pretty good about knowing who their target audience is and dialing that in with the right content creators. And then you got to take it to the next level and feel like and figure out, like, if a channel is seasonal, what's their peak season? But nevertheless, I don't enjoy that kind of thing. And the older I get and the more settled in life I get, the less I want to do stuff that I don't want to do. I mainly just want to come out here, drop some baits down 3 or 4 hours, catch some fish until it gets like right now when it's blazing hot, you can't hardly stand it. And then call it a day. I don't want to edit videos. I want to do this right here. I want to just turn the camera on, leave it rolling, bring you with me. I don't want to have to go home and edit. Although, got to do a little bit of that. Shrinking some of these videos down for the second channel, making some shorts videos, things like that. Got to do a little bit of that stuff. But I don't want to. I just want to go fishing. I just want to go fishing. I don't want to sell you anything. I don't want to edit. I for damn sure don't want to take people on fishing trips. I don't want to take company spokesmen out, have them micromanage me while I'm trying to film a video on the product. I don't want to do any of that. I want to go fishing when I want to go fishing. I want to leave when I want to leave. And that's that. And I've told you all this. If I've said it once, I've said it 20 times. The key to happiness in life. I don't know a lot about much, folks. You're not going to get a lot of wisdom. Oh, something got after our live bait. Something tugged on him there. He didn't do that. That had the kayak moving a little bit. He's going now, though. Yeah, we'll sit here a few more minutes, folks. I think we are going to get on the troll maybe, because we ain't getting as number of fish as we got yesterday. It ain't went how I envisioned it in my mind today. But anyway, here's what I know. And I don't pretend to know a lot about much, but I know one of the keys to happiness in life. Well, there's a couple things I know when it comes to happiness. First off, he hit it again. He's back on it. Okay. Something's after him. That ain't that yellow bass working that rod tip like that, not on that heavy gollywhopper rod. Something wants him. Get him. Now he got it. He got to eat thin. He got to eat thin, folks. Live yellow bass goes down. This is a better fish right here. This is a better one. This is going to be the biggest one of the morning for sure. It won't take as long to get up on this because we got the heavier gear. We can kind of get a little rougher with him. Versus the lighter gear, we got to play them out. But he actually ain't that big. He actually ain't. Oh, there goes our front rod. Let's set him back. He felt pretty good. He hit it hard. Oh, this one come free. I lost another one on this one. Let's fix the bait back and send it down, and we'll land our other one over here that's ate that yellow bass. I knew he was getting after it, man. He hit it a couple times while we had our back turned and kind of jolted the kayak a little bit. That's the one thing about fishing. I don't care what kind of kayak you got. You'll feel the bites. You'll feel them hit it. I mean, he's a fun sizer, and probably is the biggest one of the morning. But I was hoping to get something bigger to eat that yellow bass. And I'd like to have another live yellow bass now. You think we'll catch us another one, Blue Cat? You see any more of them down there? I could probably give him a little front camera time, but do you think he deserves it? I don't think so. I don't want to waste time with it. Okay. There you go. Yeah, I mean, he's small, fun sizer at best. Definitely not what I'd hoped for with that live yellow bass. Well, now we got what have you done here? Are we trying to tighten knots again? Okay. Well, in the meantime, until we catch something live that we can put on, let's take a big piece of the yellow bass cut bait and stick it on there. We'll take this other tail we've had laying here on the floor, and then I'm going to tell you about happiness and the key to a successful life. So I know all of you are just dying to hear this. Come out here on a fishing trip with me and we start, I don't even know how the hell we get on most of the topics we get on, but it usually goes off in the weeds pretty quickly in these videos. Okay. Big chunk of yellow bass. We'll send him down until such a time that maybe we can luck into another yellow bass or drum or white bass or whatever. Let's check this one, make sure it's got a bait on there still. I don't think it does. It does not. Something has eaten that bait. Let's see. Okay. Tell you what this shad thinks is the key to success in life is just survive. Survive another day. That's his motto, but it didn't work out for him. He got caught in the net, and now he's hopefully going to get caught by a fish down there. I'm content sitting here if we're getting bit, but if we ain't, we'll get on the move. Just work that edge down through there. We'll see how it goes. But here's what I know, folks, about happiness. Couple things. First off, we all have needs, right? You need somebody or something to love. Hopefully it's a spouse or a child. Could be a thing, maybe a job, maybe some of you just super passionate about something. Could be an animal, maybe you love your dog, cat, whatever. But you need something to love. You need something to be excited about, and preferably if it's family, a spouse or child, something like that. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love my animals like family, but it's different. Like when you've got another human to root for and to share their happiness and success with, it's different. But you need somebody or something to love for sure. You don't want to go through life just kind of indifferent and alone. So you need somebody or something to love. Then we all need to be wanted and loved. That's human. That's the human side of us. We all need to be needed, need to be wanted, need to be loved. So you need somebody or something to love you. Could be a spouse, child, could be a dog, whatever, but you need something to love you back. You need something to love and something to love you back. And the last thing I think you need something to hate. And I know, Justin, well, you shouldn't hate anything. You shouldn't hate anybody. No, you should. You need something that can piss you off, bring out that fire in you. You need that. I think that's important. Maybe it's some rivalry. Maybe it's an enemy. But whatever it is, it's going to keep you sharp. Maybe it's going to keep you striving in your business. Maybe it's going to keep you in shape. You gotta whoop somebody's ass. You gotta keep yourself in game shape. Be ready for it. Maybe it's going to motivate you to be better in a fishing tournament, a bowling league. I don't know. But when you've got somebody or something you hate, that is oftentimes very motivating to make you better at whatever it is in that particular area of life. So your needs get met. You've got something to share your love with. You have something to love you back, and then you have something to keep you fired up and motivated. That's step one of a key to happy life. Here's the other part of that. You need to spend as many days as you possibly can of your life doing what you want to do. And that's hard. That's very hard as we get older. As a kid, back rod. Oh man, something was after it. Something got after that yellow bass piece. You can hook up with it. But as a kid, it's easy, man. You got nothing but time. You got no responsibility. You just wake up, do what you want. Then you start going to school and your time gets cramped a little bit, but you still got after school, weekends, summer breaks. Man, you got all summer long as a kid. Just wake up when you want, do whatever you want. Yeah, sure, you might have some chores. Maybe you got to take out the trash or mow the yard, something like that. But like, you've got the bulk of your day to do whatever the hell it is you want. But then we get older and life starts throwing distractions at you left and right. You become a teenager, hormones hit, you start chasing women. Then you got to get a job to afford to be able to chase women. Then maybe you get out of high school and pursue a trade, pursue college. Either way, you're going to be working as soon as you become an adult. Like, you're going to have to get out there and hit the ground running in the real world. You know, you got bills to pay. Got to make a life for yourself. And then as you get a little older, maybe in your 30s, let's say, mid-30s. At this point, if you're going to start a family, you probably already have. So your time is now not just spent amongst yourself, but it's spent with your wife and kids and all that. And then your energy is going to start to decline. You ain't going to have the get up and go that you once had. It's going to take you longer to recover. And that's just going to compound as each year rolls by. And before you know it, you wake up one day like me and you're 44 years old and you wonder, where the hell did your life go? Well, it went to the distractions. And so what you got to do to live a happy life, y'all, is try to block out the distractions and get some time for yourself. Maybe it can't be a whole day. Maybe it's 30 minutes today. Maybe it's an hour tomorrow. Maybe this weekend you take a half a day for you. But you got to take some time for you. You can't just do for other... I'm going to do for this fish right here. This fish that he's doing for himself, eating that bait before another fish could come get it. It's a cat. I'd really like to pull up another live bait right now. And if we catch a small... He's all wrapped up in that line too. We get him undone here, he is gonna act a fool up in here when we get him unwound. Fish, you got any words of wisdom for people on how to live a happy life? This fish, he's never been happy a single day in his life. Never. You just spit that bait out right there. I was going to let you have it. And now you've acted like this. Now you ain't getting no. And now you about to knock my worms over too, fish. Get out of here. Get. I knew he was going to be wound up. I knew he was, because he was too calm from being wrapped up in that line. That line wraps around them, and they just go docile until the tension releases, and then it's on. Let me get back here and get another one of these old shad out of here. But you got to take time for you. You can't do for others all the time. Now, some people enjoy that. There is some benefit to be had from doing for others, certainly. I'm not saying don't be charitable. Don't help out your friends and family. Do that. But don't forget about you. Because if you do, you're going to wake up one day and you're going to look at your life and be like, where the hell did it go? And you're going to have regrets. So the more days you can wake up and just be like, what do I want to do today? What's going to make me happy? The better off you're going to be. And it ain't stuff, folks. It ain't stuff. I can tell you that to be 100% fact. That's another thing I know with 100% certainty. Happiness don't come from stuff. Objects, cars, motorcycles. This fish over here tugging on this line, he might bring me a little happiness if it'd stay on. But he ain't going to stay on. Let's send it back down. But yeah, listen, you go out and you buy that convertible or motorcycle or boat, you're going to get a high from it first few times you take it out. But by the 20th time you've took it out, it ain't going to hit the same. But you know what is going to hit the same every month? That payment when it comes due. That you've signed your life away for years. How much them convertibles cost these days? A lot. Most of you ain't going to walk in a dealer and pay cash for a brand new convertible. You're going to have to make payments on that for 5-6 years. Same with the boat. Hell, some of these boat companies, man, they're offering plans for 10 plus years. You go up here to Bass Pro, you want to spend $600 a month the rest of your life, they'll sell you any boat in there. But now you got to bill $600 the rest of your life. And that's what happens, man. You get to be an adult. You're short on time. You think, man, I deserve this. I want this, and you go get it and you finance it. And it's awesome for a couple weeks. And then that high wears off and you're chasing the next high. And the next thing you know, you've got your convertible, you've got your boat, you've got your motorcycle. These are big, extravagant things, but you could do it on a smaller scale too and still find yourself in the same problem. Maybe you're gonna try a new hobby. Maybe you're gonna take up mountain biking, so you go get the fancy mountain bike. Maybe you're gonna take up kayak fishing, you go buy a fancy kayak. You end up having all these things. And we all need some things. But what happens is people overextend themselves. I've done it. I'm not lecturing you here like from a standpoint of I'm so much better than everybody because I've got shit figured out. No, I've learned what I've learned because I made a bunch of stupid mistakes. That's how I know what I know. I didn't figure stuff out the right way the first time. Hell no, I had to make mistakes. And so I know, man, I had the boat. I had the motorcycle. I had all this crap. And I had the bills to go with it, which then just forces you back into the rat race even more. Now you're working all them hours. You're working overtime to pay for it. You're week to week there on the paycheck. Like, my God, I hope the air conditioning unit don't go out. You know what? I hope I don't need new tires anytime soon, because how the hell am I going to get it? So you're paycheck to paycheck to pay for this stuff. You don't have time to use any of it because you're working all the time. And now you've got the financial stress of knowing that you're one unexpected emergency away from being in real trouble. And shit happens, folks. Shit happens. I don't care how good life's going for you now. Something's going to go wrong at some point in time. I hope it don't. I ain't wishing nothing bad on you or wishing anything bad on myself. But I've lived long enough to know it's a matter of time. You're going to slip at the boat ramp and break your arm. Or the dog's going to trip you going down the steps. You're going to sprain an ankle. You're going to miss a little time from work. Or your air conditioning unit's going to go out. You're going to have a leak in the roof. Your kid's going to need braces. Your dog's going to eat something it shouldn't, and you're going to have a vet bill. Like, things come up. Things happen, folks. And now you've got the stress that you was already feeling. Now you got some bill you can't pay. And chances are, when that bill hits, it's going to be something important. You know, your dog gets sick. That's like family, man. You got to go to the vet. You got to take care of it. Your kid needs braces. What are you going to do? You know, and some of that stuff. Oh, our back rod. Big takedown on the yellow bass. Got that bigger chunk out there. I'd like to have us another live one on. Ain't gonna be a big fish though. In fact, it's a pretty small fish. It makes you wonder how he got hooked, but they find a way sometimes. At least this one here, we don't need them. We don't need a net on him, so we got these big leaders. Just lift him right in. I'll take that hook back, sir. After using them thinner wire hooks, these big ones, my heavy gear just seems so big. And they are, comparatively speaking, but just amazing. Get out of here, fish. You skinny old dink. I'm going to reuse that bait, I think. It still looks pretty good. Still got some of the stuff in there in it. I'm seeing all that there on the screen. I don't know what they are, but they down there. We probably need to reel in that bait on the left, too. See what's up with it. It's been down there untouched a minute. Let's check it. Just make sure it's still got bait on there. Because if it don't, we for sure don't be sitting on there with a bare hook. No, it does. It looks good. I mean, look at all them fish right there on the screen. What is that? I don't know. I don't know what those are, but there's something. Now, there's a bunch of them because you can see that ain't like a small school of shad. Like, you can see the individual fish in that school. Let's check this one too while we're at it. Yeah, this one's, they've ate this one down to the nub right here. Got another one of those smaller ones maybe. I'd love to get us another yellow bass or white bass or something there, just something small. We may try a worm again here in a minute too. Put it back on there and see what happens. But yeah, folks, like, you need some stuff. I mean, unless you're living in a big city, you're going to need some form of transportation. Do you need a fancy car? Unless you're hauling something, do you need a truck or SUV? It's going to be a gas guzzler and cost more to insure? No. Something splashes beside us over there. You got to have a hobby of some kind, something to do. Do you need a $5,000 kayak setup, or can you get by with maybe a $800 setup, a $1,000 setup? It doesn't have to be forever. But temporarily, until you can get ahead and get control of your life instead of allowing your life to control you. That's the mistake. That's the mistake people make, folks. That's the mistake I made. You start giving your employer, your debt, your own, just really your own desires. I mean, your things that, the reason we buy these things and take on these debts is because we're lacking something inside us, right? It's not so much the object that we want, it's the happiness that object, we think at least, is going to provide us. That's what we're lacking. So you need to be in control. And if you can suppress those things, suppress those urges, just understand that it's not the object necessarily you're seeking so much as it's the feeling you get from that. Then once you get to a point in life where you're in control of your life, then you can start making some decisions. Like, okay, I like kayak fishing, and I'm having a great experience doing it in this $500 kayak, and I'm at a point where I can afford a fancy model that'll bring me more happiness and joy, and it's not going to cause me any stress. Well, I'm going to go do it. And so then you go do it. But most people put the cart before the horse, and it just compounds the problems. I've been there. I've done it. I've got friends and family who's done it. Like, it's just easy to do. It's this thing over here just. Oh, good. We got one. Get your heavy reel up over here, folks. Get your heavy tackle set up. Get it over here. We're going to switch this out. We're going to switch out that body section over there for a live yellow bass. And while he's got his fin like that, let's just go ahead and give it that trim. You sit right there in the floor, Mr. Yellow Bass. Think about what you've done. Well, hell, something knocked our bait off right here. Perfect timing on you, Yellow Bass. We didn't have anything on that hook. Boy, them fins are prickly. All right, y'all. We got us another large premium live bait. See that yellow bass right there? He made a poor life decision eating that piece of shad with the hook in it. Look where it's got him. Now I'm in control of that yellow bass instead of him being in control of himself. And that's a terrible place to be. You don't want other people having control of your life. You want to have control of yourself. Yeah, I mean, I ain't trying to tell you how to live. As we discussed, I mean, most of you that are watching this crap right now, or listening to this crap, most of you are grown-ass adult men. So, you've got your own life experience. You've made your own mistakes in life. You'll either agree with me or just think I'm full of crap, you know, and it's both. For some people, I'm going to be speaking the gospel. I'm certainly speaking it in my own experience. But for other people, depending on how you grew up, how life went for you, maybe I'm completely unrelatable right now. I accept that. But I don't care. If you was born with a silver spoon in your mouth, trust fund kid, or if you grew up in the projects, life is going to get hard for you regardless. Everybody goes through rough stretches. Now, people that have a lot of money maybe ride out them tough stretches a little easier. I mean, if your dog gets sick and you got a comma and a bunch of zeros in your bank account, well, it's easier to pay that bill. You are maybe not going to have that financial stress that somebody else might have that ain't in that situation. But here's what I know. Another one of them few things in life I've figured out. People that grew up in bad situations, or people who have maybe didn't, but just maybe self-inflicted, went through hard times in life, made dumb decisions, got themselves in debt, or done something to put themselves behind the 8 ball in the game of life, right? And they dug a hole they had to climb their way out of. When you compare those people to somebody some trust fund kid, never had to deal with any kind of adversity in their life ever. Mommy and daddy took care of everything. Now they got money out the wazoo. They've never really had to handle stress. When life does happen to those people, and it will, it always does, man, it happens to everybody. Maybe not in the way you think of. Maybe it happens to some people more than others. But even the rich trust fund kid, they're going to have something go wrong. Maybe they're going to have a parent die. Maybe they start a family of their own. They have a child. Maybe there's something wrong with the kid. Maybe they get some kind of health diagnosis. That's a surprise to them, Like, life happens, man, and bad things happen. And I'm going to tell you this. The people who didn't grow up having everything handed to them, those people are a lot more resilient. Those people are going to be way more likely to overcome it quicker. And I won't say easier, but they're just conditioned. Man, they've been through it. Once you've been through the ringer a few times, you know what to expect. You've been there. You clawed your way out. And every time you do that, you harden yourself a little more. You add to your confidence. You're like, you know what? This sucks. But I've been here before. Yeah, I'll give you an example in my own life. Kind of the same, but not really, but kind of on the same thing, I guess I'm trying to say, but a little bit different scenario. When I was working my regular job as a nurse and doing travel nurse contracts, every time I would start a new job, you're in a brand new facility, you don't know your way around town. That was, for me, the first 2 weeks to a month on a job was always the most stressful. The job itself was the same. Working in an ER in Tennessee versus Virginia versus North Carolina versus Georgia versus Washington, whatever. Taking care of patients is the same. There might be some differences in policy from ER to ER, protocols and stuff, but it's the same. It's the same job everywhere you go. The things that change are how you chart what you done, which is very important. It don't seem like much. You should think of, the number one thing of patient care is taking care of patients, right? Well, it is, but you got to be able to chart what you've done, or else if you didn't chart it, it didn't get done. So you got to keep up with all that. That's very important. And every hospital you go to is going to have a different computer system. And even if you go to a hospital that has the same computer charting system that you had previously, chances are they're going to have a different version of it. So that you're still going to have to, every time you go to a brand new place, you're going to have to learn how to do your job all over again. And then there's the other part of it is where are your supplies kept? When you need something and you need something right now, where the hell's it at? Well, if you're working in some podunk rural town in a small ER that's got 10 beds, well, half a day, you know where everything's at in there. But if you're working in some 80-bed trauma center with an ER the size of a Walmart, where the hell is stuff kept at in there? You may be working in one section of it today, and then another section of it tomorrow, and you may not go back to this section over here again for 2 weeks. It takes a while to learn your way around. And when you're working in a brand new city as a travel nurse, again, how do you get from your hotel or Airbnb, wherever the hell you're staying at, to the job? What's the best route? How early do you need to leave to fight interstate traffic and stuff? Like, you don't know when you first roll into town. So those first couple weeks are pretty stressful because as a travel nurse, you get about 1 day of orientation on average. You're gonna get there, get your badge, get your computer logins, all that crap. Do any other HR stuff you got to do. Maybe you get then the second half of that day out on the floor with somebody. Orientation. Your next day will usually be an orientation day where you'll be with somebody. And then they expect you to hit the ground running. They're paying you out the ass as a travel nurse. Like, you got to be ready to perform. And so when you're having to be slowed down because you're having to think and ask people, how do you chart this? Or where do you find this in the computer? Or where is this supply kept? In learning your way around, everything's slow. You get slowed down. You just get bogged down with stuff that really don't matter. And it won't matter a month from now when you're fully acclimated. But in the first few days, the first couple weeks, it can be very stressful because you're doing a stressful job that's you're usually running behind in anyway, just from the acuity of the patients and everything needs to be done. You're oftentimes just stressed from that, and behind, and then you throw in the fact that now you're being forced to work slower because you don't know the charting system in and out, and you don't know where supplies are kept. So when you're in those situations and you're stressed, the first couple contracts you do, you're like, man, I've made a mistake, man. I'm not cut out for this. Like, I'm just not good enough to do this job. You start questioning yourself. You're doubting yourself in your mind. But over the course of time, if you stick with it, and I ended up doing, I was travel nursing the last decade before I left that to do this YouTube crap. But by the time you're a couple years in and you've been a few places, yes, it's still going to be stressful those first couple weeks. But while you're going through it, you know that there's light at the end of the tunnel. You know it's going to get better. You can pull from your past experience and just know, like, yep, the last 3 other jobs I had, I was really stressed out, ready to pull my hair out the first couple weeks, but then it got easier. I got the computer down. I got that part down. I figured out where everything was at. Now I'm not being slowed down by those things. Now I can just worry about doing the job. And it gets easier. And by the time you get to the end of your contract, you're fired on all cylinders, man. It's like you've been there forever. But that comes with time. That comes with experience. The first couple times you do it, you're like, oh, nice little thump and a pull here. And is he gone? And he's gone. Y'all lost him again. Boy, we've had a lot of lost fish today. It's not been as active today. I'm wondering if they're not getting the whole bait in that situation. Maybe they're just they're nipping it, clamping down and taking off and not eating the whole thing. Maybe. I don't know. But to finish up on that topic, it's like you start pulling from that experience. And when times get hard on your 4th or 5th contract you're on, you're like, I just got to stay the course. I've been there and done that. I know I can do this. It's just going to suck today. It's going to suck today. It's going to suck tomorrow, maybe the next day, but I'm going to turn the corner. I'm going to get there. And it's the same way with anything else in life. Oh, big splash over here to our right. I wasn't looking that way, though. don't know what that was. Maybe another paddlefish. But it's like anything in life. After you've experienced it a few times, you've went through hard times, you're going to get to a point where you know, like, okay, this sucks. Life is going to suck right now, but I'm going to get through it. And I'm going to come out better on the other side. And, you know, before I got on this part of it here, I was going on about like people who's been through it their whole life versus people who've kind of been coddled. Those people who have grown up rough, man, they've already done that. They're already resilient. By the time they reach adulthood, they've already been through so much, it's like they just roll with the punches, man. Whereas you get these little kids that have been coddled, had everything handed to them their whole life. They finally get out in the real world, spread their wings a little bit. The first time they run into any resistance, it's like their whole world ends. They don't know what to do. And it's not their fault. They haven't been through it yet. Maybe you can blame their parents for coddling them too much, but I mean, it's human nature. I don't have any kids, but I mean, if I did, I would hope that they would have a better life than what I've had, and I've had a pretty damn good life, you know? And so if each generation wants to provide their kids with a better life than they have, and you're fortunate enough to be able to do that, well, by the time you get 3 or 4 generations in, them kids are pretty well coddled. And life just ain't going to coddle you forever. Life ain't going to allow it. Life was going to punch you in the mouth at some point. Everybody, I don't care who you are, how much money you got, what background you come from, everybody gets punched in the mouth a few times in life. Statistically, once every 10 years, you're going to have a major life-altering event. That's statistically. Now, that don't mean it's one event every 10 years. You might have 3 events over the next year, and then maybe have a break or something like that. It averages out to a life-altering event about once every 10 years, but that don't mean life's going to say, yeah, well, you know what, Justin just went through this, so let's give it another decade before we hit him with something else. Hell no, that ain't how it works. You know it. But once you've been punched in the mouth the first time, the second time it happens, it's still going to hurt, but it's going to sting a little less, and you're going to recover a little quicker. And every hit you take after that, it just gets better. Sucks while you're going through it, but you just become more resilient. And I've seen it with my own eyes. I've been through it myself. And as a people watcher, somebody who just likes to observe people, try to figure out why they do what they do, I've just seen it. Hell, I mean, even on a smaller scale, folks, you take a smaller scale, something that's completely irrelevant, doesn't even matter in life, but you can see shades of it in it, as something like fishing tournaments. You get out there on a fishing tournament. We all have a plan. We enter tournament day. We got a plan of what we're going to do. We're thinking about it leading up to the tournament, all the fish we're going to catch, and how we're just going to dominate everybody else and get that first place trophy and a big check that goes with it, right? And then you get out there on tournament day, and maybe you run into a little adversity. The wind's blowing more than you thought it was going to, or starts pouring down rain, or you had a plan of how you was going to catch fish and it ain't working out, or you made a long run to get somewhere and now surprise, there's another boat sitting on that spot. Things happen. Many tournaments as I've fished, I've experienced just about all of it. But the first time those things happen, or one of those things happens, it kind of throws you off a little bit. But over the course of time, you do it more and more, you learn to just kind of roll with it. Now, some things, man, sometimes it's going to be like, you're going to have a day. And maybe something's going to happen and it's going to ruin your day. But I've seen some people that just continually, the slightest little bit of adversity, their whole day's wrecked. They're done. And those people, they never cash. I don't even know why they go to the tournaments, honestly, because they never do any good, and they certainly don't seem to be having any fun doing it. And look right here. Look right here. This right rod. Oh, he's going to. We keep getting enough bites to kind of keep me here. Even though it ain't like it was yesterday, I'm still kind of just sitting here. I wonder if we just shouldn't get on the move. You want to? I mean, hell, I ain't going to fish much longer anyway because it's so damn hot. Let's drop these down. Let's just troll for a little while. I mean, if we miss fish on the move or catch small fish on the move, it ain't going to be no different than us sitting here missing fish and catching small ones. So let's do this. Let's pick us out. Let me get my remote here. Well, I can probably pull it up here. Let's come off the spot lock. Let's pick, push that button. And then hit that button. Follow, contour. I think we want to go purple. I think it takes us back that way. All right, we'll get on the move. Oh, and now we got to set our speed. Let's go 0.4. All right. That thing will get us spun around here directly, and we'll maybe troll a little bit. But yeah, on the tournament thing, man, like you see it in tournament. You see a little bit of adversity gets thrown people's way, and some other people's going to handle it better than I do. Maybe I'm going to handle it better than some other people do. You know, that's how it goes. But whoever's going to handle it the best and overcome it's probably going to do better in a tournament when it's said and done. But some people, man, the slightest thing, they're completely thrown off. Just ruins their whole day. And, you know, I don't know, man. Like, you have to ask yourself, like, what the hell's the point in this? Like, why are you doing this for? Why is the motor like that? I guess because the wind is blowing this way. Maybe it's moving us at that speed, and it's just going to keep us lined up on that line, maybe. I don't know. I'm debating whether or not I'm going to fish in the tournaments next year myself. I've thought about this a lot. I've thought out loud a little bit on these videos and stuff. On one hand, I like fishing the tournaments. I do enjoy it. As our right rod up here is getting messed with. But it's a lot of expense and a lot of time commitment to go somewhere and ultimately have to fish on a weekend during the tournament. Like, I like going different places to fish, but I don't necessarily like fishing Saturdays, and I don't like necessarily fishing all day long. Like, these tournaments will run 8 or 9 hours usually. Some of them longer than that. Some of them kayakers tournaments, they're 24-hour deals or 48-hour deals. I don't want to do that. Like, I just want to go out and fish a few hours on a weekday when there ain't no boat traffic. I mean, how many boats have we seen out here today? 1 or 2? I think 1 went by earlier. I saw 2 guys launching about the same time I was this morning. Like, that's it. That's the perk of fishing on a Wednesday morning, man. But you come out here on a Saturday when there's bass tournaments everywhere and ski boaters and jet skiers and houseboaters. Well, that ain't very much fun. So it's like the tournaments, man, you spending a bunch of money to go somewhere and not have fun. Like, is that smart to do? Now, my situation may be a little different than the common person because of this YouTube channel. I can, as long as I get a video, it's not going to be a total loss because I'm going to earn a little scratch from the video, right? So, like, whatever my tournament expenses are for the trip and the fuel and hotel and food and entry fees and fishing license, all that crap, you take that total and then whatever video I get there, subtract the income from it. So worst case scenario, I've got a subsidized trip out of it, not necessarily having to pay full price out of pocket. And if things do go well, maybe I cash in the tournament, or maybe the video does really good, or maybe I can get multiple videos on that trip. Well, then maybe it's a profitable trip. But still, you're in a situation where some of the lakes and rivers you go to in the tournament trail aren't really destination spots that you would really just want to go there just because. And you're having to fish on literally the busiest boat traffic day of the week. It's like, I don't know if I really want to do it. I mean, it's easy when if the video content's doing well and you're guaranteed to turn a profit. Well, it's easy to talk yourself into it. You're like, well, hell, I'm going to turn a profit either way. Why not? Even if it sucks, I'm still going to get something out of it. And if it goes well for me, even better. But if at best you've got a subsidized trip, then it's like, well, why don't I just go somewhere else that's a destination spot at a time I want to go there, and still have a subsidized trip, but have more fun with it and less expenses because you're not paying tournament fees, and because you're not staying somewhere on a weekend. I'm just using an example. If you're fishing during the week, let's say, hotels are always cheaper Sunday through Thursday. It's Friday and Saturday nights they usually stick it to you. So, because those are busier travel days, right? It's supply and demand. More people traveling on the weekends, more demand for hotel rooms, they're going to raise the price because they can get it. Whereas a random Tuesday night, there aren't as many people traveling, less demand, more cheaper prices for everybody. That's basic supply and demand 101. So if you're just picking out a trip for yourself, not a tournament, you can look around and be like, okay, I know I want to fish somewhere weekday mornings. And you can kind of plot that out and save a significant amount of money. So I don't know next year, man. I looked at the Kayakers Trail in Ohio. They've already posted their schedule for 2027. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, well, the Hoover event looks appealing and the Sandusky event looks appealing. But the rest of it, I don't know that I want to drive up there. I mean, if it was closer, I would fish the whole thing. Like if I lived in Ohio, I would fish that whole trail because there's so much money added to the pot for a $100 entry fee tournament. Why not? But with my situation, not living up there, I've got to drive. I mean, most of them places are at least 6 hours away, 6 to 8 hours each direction. So I'm going to have a hotel expense every time I go up there. I'm going to have a couple $100 in fuel at least every time I go up there. This fish is going to have a sore lip if he don't let that bait go before he gets that hook. Smart move, fish. Very smart. You done the right thing, letting it go. So, I mean, as far as these tournaments goes, it's not just going to be a $100 entry fee for me. It's going to be a few $100 minimum. So then it's like, well, which of those tournaments do I want to fish? Well, maybe the Hoover, maybe the Sandusky, depending on the weather. I don't want to drive 6 or 8 hours to go sit in pouring down rain and high winds. Now our left rod's getting messed with over here. But then you do the other part of that, and you're like, well, this is a trail. The real money's at the end of the season. So you hopefully want to fish enough of the tournaments to try to get one of the, either maybe get the Angler of the Year money, or at least qualify for the big tournament at the end. And if you only fish 2 of them, you can't do that. You got to fish 5 out of the 10 events. There's another big splash over there, but I wasn't looking that way either. Every time a big fish comes up splashing out there, I'm looking the opposite direction. So anyway, I don't know. The National Trail hasn't posted their schedule yet. And they usually don't until like January, February. But we'll just take a look and see, and see how. I won't be fishing any more tournaments this year. Unless it's maybe like a bass tournament or something. Maybe jumping one of those locally or something. But the catfish tournaments, I won't be doing any more of those. The remaining tournaments on either one of those schedules aren't anything I want to do. I want to reel in this fish here on the left, though, if he'll allow it. If he'll stay hooked up. He's going to stay hooked up, I think. I think this one's going to allow us the opportunity to reel him in. Get your sunscreen on, fish. I can feel it burning my neck as we speak. My neck and my ears are on fire. We've reached that point in the morning. It's hot as blazes out here. I swear I don't know why people want to fish in the afternoons this time of year. This fish, he don't even want to swim in this water. The water temperatures, the surface temps here at 87 degrees. He don't even want to swim in that water, let alone be out here in the blazing heat. Where's the hook at, sir? Because I would like to get it back and get you going so I can get your friends. Where's the... What have you done, fish? If you got to... I have no idea what this fish has done. I think maybe he's run the hook through his mouth, and the hook has maybe caught the net. Maybe. What the heck? I think that's what's happened. Either way, he's all wrapped up in this dang net. Here, give me some slack on that too. Maybe that'll help. I see the hook right here. I'm probably gonna bend it trying to get it out like this. In fact, I think I did just bend it. Damn it! You danged old fish! Why'd you do that? Now you've caused me to mess up a hook. Here, let's see if we can just cut that hook, maybe. Since we've already ruined it anyhow. One good thing about these thin wire hooks is you can cut them. My pliers are so damn dull, though, you ain't going to be able to do it probably. There it goes. Alright. Yeah, that's exactly what we done. We run the hook through and then caught the net. Oh! He told me what he thought about it, didn't he? Now we got a hole in the net there, too. Yeah, we'll just have to replace that later. First one we've had to replace today. Daggone fish. I got some more pre-tied dough in my bag. But yeah, the only other tournament this season that's left that I would be interested in is the Louisiana tournament. But that is a conflicting schedule with my Florida trip there in November. So, I don't want that one. That was one of them mosquito hooks there. I had thrown in there for them worms yesterday. We may try a worm back on there again too in just a second. Put another worm on that way on the move and see what that'll do, if anything. So I don't know about the next season, man. I know a lot of you like the tournament videos. They haven't performed as well for me this year, the few tournaments that I have fished, as in years past, as far as just video performance. And I certainly haven't done as good in the tournaments this year. I fished 4 tournaments, only cashed in one of them. I done real bad in the first one in Alabama. The Hoover tournament, I got pissed off at the drone guy flying around and decided to just pack it in early. That was where I ran into some adversity and just folded on that one, folks. I got pissed off, let my anger get the best of me. I cashed in Sandusky. Actually turned a profit on that trip. And then Seneca Lake, I think I finished 8th place, I think it was. So, yeah, it ain't been a good year for me as far as doing well in the tournaments. Anyway, but it's just, you look at the places on the schedule and it's like, I don't really want to go somewhere just to go somewhere. Like, I want to go somewhere that is a desirable place to go. The Santee Coopers, the Kerr Lakes, the Mississippi River, places like that, you know, definitely not Seneca Lake in Ohio. I could go the rest of my life without ever going there again. I didn't see anything about that place that would make me ever want to go back there. All right, let's reel this in and put another worm on. Hell, we got a bare hook down there anyway. Something had robbed us. Let's try the worm again. I think the worms yesterday done better on the mosquito hook. Oh, of course we've missed a bunch of fish today too. Let's maybe grab another worm out of here too. Make like a whole worm ball out of this. Okay. Now let's do another one. Why not? Just because. I think that's what the sturgeon people do up in the Northwest. I think they just put a bunch of worms on the hook. All right. There we go, y'all. Whole glob of them. Let's send that down there. We'll do this for a few minutes. Me and you gonna get out of here, or else I'm gonna have a skin cancer growing on my neck here from the sun beating down on me. I just don't like wearing sunscreen. I'll wear a buff sometimes. Like if I'm in a tournament or something, I'll be out there late in the day, I'll wear a buff. Sometimes I'll wear it normal trips too, if it's real sunny. But I don't like putting on sunscreen. I don't trust it. If sunscreen worked, then skin cancer rates would have gone down after it was invented. But that ain't been the case. Skin cancers are at all-time highs. Well, if sunscreen usage is at all-time highs, why does skin cancer keep going up? I don't know. Could it be because of all the chemicals in the stuff that we're putting on us? I mean, our skin is basically a big sponge. We're able to absorb stuff through our skin. A lot of medicines are transdermal, meaning that it's absorbed through the skin. Well, why wouldn't the crap in the sunscreen go through there? Or anything else we put on us, for that matter. So, I don't like putting all that stuff on me. We're already consuming a lot of crap. I mean, my water bottle here, it's plastic. And it looks like there's fish crap on it. So, you know, I'm getting all that in my system. You eat something. Like yesterday, I was going to talk about this, fast food. So yesterday, I stopped on the way out of here. I got McDonald's. It's convenient. Ain't many restaurants over in this area. So I swung by McDonald's, and it was awful. And I started trying to think about, like, when was the last time I had something good at a fast food restaurant? When was the last time any of you out there went to a fast food place? I don't care where. McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, Chick-fil-A. Our worm ball. Our worm ball got eat. Let's see what we got here. Will we have a catfish or something else? Will something else have eaten? Ah, we do. We got the old channel cat. This is what we don't want to see right here. You better have left every one of them worms on too, channel cat. Better not be a single one of them missing. We put the worms on. This is the smallest catfish of the day. I will get you unhooked, sir, if you will just calm down. Actually, I think you hooked in the side of the eyeball. Get old channel cat. Something's messing with our rod on the left over there too. Yeah, he only got one worm left on there after that fish. He took a couple of them. Souvenirs. But anyway, I ate McDonald's yesterday. It's awful, as it always is. Okay, he got it in. Let's drop this back down. And pick up on that other one over there. One of y'all grab it. He still got it over there too. He's on there. Let's just drop this one down again. But when have you had a fast food meal from any restaurant where you're like, man, that was good? Oh, he's gone. He got off there. He got all of the bait except the head. That's why I think they're biting the back of the bait and just clamping down. That's why I think that. Oh, we got one on the worm over there already. Something's messing with it. Let's grab another bait here real fast. Okay. Just gonna put that whole thing on there. I ain't even gonna cut it. But I can't, honestly myself, I can't remember the last time I had a good fast food meal. Or just leave there thinking, boy, that's a pretty good deal. You get this amount of food, even if it ain't no good. You can just be like, well, I get this amount of food for this amount of money. Like, that's a value. No, never. It always tastes like crap. And you're always still hungry when you're done. Like, I'm never filled up on fast food. Never. And part of that's probably the chemicals they put in it because they want you eating more. But still, like, it's terrible food quality. It's not good for you. It's expensive. You're still hungry afterwards. Like, why do we keep doing it? Why do we keep eating fast food all the time? And I try not to eat it too often. But yesterday, I was getting out of here kind of late because I had to make a long run back to the car. I had to stop at my parents' and let the dog out. So I knew it was going to be even later me getting home. So I was like, well, let me just grab some McDonald's. I'll eat it on the way. And, our back rod, our live bait. Something got after him, y'all. He got lively for some reason. He's wanting to run from something, ain't he? I'd love to see that rod just get buried. Something wants him. Well, something may have just got him. Something just got him. He ain't pulling that down like that, folks. There's no way that yellow bass can pull that heavy rod down like that. Something's got him. We got one. Can we keep him hooked up, though? We got him nonetheless. Live yellow bass. Flathead. We got us a flathead right there, man. Oh, he's wound up too. Oh, big flathead on the live yellow bass. Yes. Yes, folks. That's what I thought we might get around sunrise today. I thought we might, but didn't work out. But here we are, 10:30 in the morning. We finally got us one. Get them worms out of the way right there. Nice, buddy. Nice flathead right here. He'll get him some front camera time even. Yes, buddy. Let me get him here. Let me get him here in the light. Hold him over here on the side a second while he's still hooked. Look at that yellow bass right there on the side of his face right there. I wonder if that could be if I could make a thumbnail out of that maybe for the video. Can we do that possibly? I doubt it. I doubt that'd work out. I don't think the lighting's going to be good enough right there. But either way, I'm proud of it. He's got that dang yellow bass right there. I'm wondering if this... I knew he was after it. You could see that yellow bass running. You could see the way he was behaving down there. Something was after him. He had a predator fish nearby that he was worried about. Well, he's still kicking a little bit too, ain't he? Here, let's rehook him and send him back down. Nice, y'all. The trip just got made for me. I'm happy with that. Nice flathead. I'm always happy I get a flathead. That one right there, best fish of the morning too, as far as size goes. Let's get my DIY camera mount here. Get that set up. Perfect. Well, there we go. Yeah, let's hold him up. Got the sun behind us here. We're not going to see all his colors probably. We'll get those on the release shot, but nice, man. Nice flathead. Happy to see these guys again. I've gotten 3 over the last week or so, but prior to that, it had been a while since I got him. See ya, buddy. He gone. Y'all, yes. I will fist pump the flathead. Yes. Well, we persevered through it, y'all. We persevered. 20 feet deep right here. We come out here this morning with a plan, and it didn't really pan out the way I'd hoped. I'd hoped to bust a monster right there at sunrise, and really didn't even get all that many fish, all things considered, compared at least to yesterday anyway. And then we try that other place on the other side of the creek channel, nothing. We get on the move here, and well, we find us a flathead. There's value in working these shallows here, folks. Like I said, anything that's up here is feeding. Anything that's up here is looking to eat right now. So if you do get in front of them, you're going to have a possibility of catching them. And that flathead right there, he found him a yellow bass that he just could not resist. Maybe grab a couple of these. Through the eyeballs like that, put 2 of them on there. Down they go. Yeah, we'll give it a few more minutes here now. I was getting ready to roll on out, but I still got a pretty long run here to get back to the car. It'll take me 30 minutes or more to get back from where we're at now. Just at the distance and the speed that we go in this thing. What was I talking? I was talking about the fast food. Like, what's the solution to fast food, man? I don't know. But it's gotten, I guess it's more popular than ever, though. I mean, every time I go, Like McDonald's yesterday, the line's around the building. You try going Chick-fil-A in my town, hell, the line's backed up to the highway. So people are eating it, but it ain't no good, and it ain't good for you, and it's expensive, and you're still hungry afterwards. Like, it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know what the answer is. It didn't used to be that way. I mean, it's never really been good for you, I don't think, ever. But you used to be able to eat at a reasonable price and at least get enough food to fill you up. But now the portion sizes are smaller. Even if you get the same large fries that you used to get before, they ain't as many in there. Now, the Coca-Colas, the large drinks are as big as they ever was. They'll fill you up on sugary drinks. But that's probably a high profit item for them. The actual meat in the bar, if there is actual meat in there, that's probably went up a lot. Yeah, I don't really like it. I got a sandwich waiting on me at home. Yesterday, my wife, her and her mom and sister and her aunts, they got these passes to, it's some organization. They put on plays up there to either Tennessee Theater or Bijou Theater, I don't know. Anyway, every month, one of them comes through and they do a play, and so they go. My wife loves plays and musicals and stuff like that. And I'm happy her family will go to her with those things, because I sure as hell don't want to. I hate musicals. It ain't for me. But anyway, she had that last night, so I was on my own for dinner because she didn't get home till about 11. And I went to Firehouse Subs, and they had a 2 for $15 deal, 2 medium subs for $15. So I went ahead and got, they're normally about $10 and something a piece, so save a few dollars. And so I went ahead and got 2 of them. I had one last night, and I'm going to have the other one there when I get home for lunch today. But, and it's okay. I mean, I don't go to Subway anymore. Subway, it's just bread sandwiches. They don't put anything on it. It's just nothing but bread at Subway. You go to a Jersey Mike's or a Firehouse or what's that other one? Jimmy John's. That's it. We used to have a Jimmy John's in my town, but it went out of business. But we got a Jersey Mike's and we got a Firehouse now, and they're both better than Subway by a long shot, but they are a little bit more expensive too. But I mean, I'll get something like that, but the other types of fast food that I used to like, I just can't hardly choke it down anymore. Now, there used to be a little diner, I guess there still is a little diner in my town, but hell, she ain't never opened. Like, she used to be only open Tuesday through Friday for breakfast and lunch, and then breakfast only on Saturdays. But the last several times I've tried to call in an order, there ain't been nobody there. Like, they're closed all the time. They may be out of business. I don't know. But it was good food and reasonably priced. I mean, unless you're going to cook it yourself, man, there ain't a lot of good options left. As the airplane man flies over. It's hot, man. It's hot out here. What do you say we wrap it up, y'all? You want to get on out of here? I think I kind of do. I mainly wanted to come back to this spot today to see what was going to be going on right at sunrise. And we found out nothing. Nothing out of the norm anyway. Nothing. Didn't get the big trophy class fish that I thought might be up there. Definitely wasn't the numbers of fish today there as was yesterday and where we ended up on that last week's trip when we ended there. Got some yellow bass, no largemouth today, and not as many yellow bass today as yesterday, but it is an interesting bite to be able to bust the bass, both yellow bass and largemouth, on pieces of cut bait. That's interesting, and I'm curious to see if that's going to persist as we continue fishing water in this depth over. I mean, I'm going to keep hitting the shallows until they quit biting in the shallows, or until they start biting in the deeper water again, which who knows when that's going to be. It ain't been all summer, at least not for me. So we constantly moving, we constantly learning, y'all. I'm learning stuff all the time, and every time I learn something new, I realize I didn't know half as much as what I thought I knew the time before. But nevertheless, we caught some fish out here today. We got us a nice flathead. We got 2 live baits eaten, which was awesome, and managed to catch our live baits while we were out here, which is pretty cool. And we got that drum first thing also. So it's been a good morning. It's been a productive morning. But we've reached that point in the day where it's so dang hot that fishing, it ain't as much fun right now as what it was, and the battery's about to die anyway. So you know what? It's a good opportunity. Let's go home. Let's eat us that Firehouse sub and enjoy the air conditioning. Maybe play some Mario. Do what's going to make us the happiest this afternoon, because like we talked about, that's the key to a successful life, folks. So anyway, I'll see you next time. Thank you for coming with me today.